is the congressional district map right there. But I think we're going to be on Brady Bunch.
All right, guys, welcome. We're on.
And welcome everyone inside State Chamber Studios, and welcome to the inaugural maiden voyage, if you will, of Election Night Live. It is a joint effort of the State Chamber of Oklahoma and OK Decides. Here at the State Chamber, we know it's very important to engage politically, and what a big night in the state of Oklahoma. Primary elections 2026, so many big seats up for grabs, so many important seats up for grabs, and we're going to talk about all of them right here tonight on Election Night Live. My name is Brent Skarkey. We have literally fives of people joining us right now, but we will talk to some of the most important people in the state when we break down some of these races and get their take on what this means for that seat going forward, what this means for that body of the legislature. We have so many things to tackle tonight. It is important for us to engage politically here at the State Chamber, because if the men and women in office are not receptive to the voice of business, then that's a problem for us, the voice of business at the state capitol. Let's talk about some of those races that we are going to break down on the program today. We're going to be talking, of course, about the federal races that are very important, both a Senate seat in the Oklahoma delegation and 4 House seats are up for grabs tonight in this primary election. We'll break those down. Some have some very interesting races going on. Statewide races, these are, of course, very important. Governor is up for grabs. Attorney General is up for grabs. And with all the drama that has surrounded the superintendent position in the last couple of years, superintendent is up for grabs. And going into this race, not a clear winner, so that's going to be, or a clear leader, that's going to be very important to follow tonight. Also, key state legislative races, both in the House and the Senate. Balance of power up for grabs. When it comes to the Senate specifically, we'll break that down. And a very important state question that we have been tracking here at the State Chamber, State Question 832, the mandate to raise the state minimum wage, tying it to a CPI that's set from the coast. And we will, of course, get you up to speed, the latest voting on that. Let me tell you about who we have on the show today to tell you about these important things. Of course, the State Chamber staff, made up of all those talented professionals that we have here at the State Chamber, and you'll be introduced to them here in a second. But we'll also talk to key state capitol insiders. So, of course, here at the State Chamber, we have a lot of connections. We're going to put those to work for you tonight to make sure that you have that political insight, that scoop that you just can't get anywhere else. We'll also talk to some political experts on what some of the numbers coming into this race, not just the number of votes, but some of the dollar amounts, some of the other key factors that go into who wins, who loses, and who moves ahead. We'll tell you all about that, and we'll have some very important and very interesting political experts, and of course, statewide and legislative leaders. You will definitely recognize a couple of the men and women that we have joining us on this live stream tonight. Very important races, like we said, in the House and in the Senate, the state Senate. So we will have some of the leaders on with us to tell us what all that means. Let's first talk about some of those big races. And to do that, we're first going to start with the race for U.S. Senate, because it has been a very weird and winding road for that Senate seat. 3 different U.S. senators have called that seat theirs in the last term, and now it's up for grabs officially as we go into this primary race. Let's welcome in Dalton Miller. Dalton going to break it down for us. And Dalton, when Markwayne Mullin decided to take the Homeland Security position, it really opened the door for things to move in a lot of different directions. Tell us all about this, because we're looking at now getting another new state senator.
Yeah, that's right, Brent. Can you hear me all right?
I can, loud and clear.
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, this U.S. Senate seat has come open this year. Like you said, Senator Markwayne Mullin was appointed to direct the Department of Homeland Security and join the president's cabinet, which opened up this U.S. Senate seat. Kevin Hern, who was representing Congressional District 1 up in Tulsa, threw his name into the hat, along with 4 other Republicans. So there will be a primary there. But there's also a primary on the other side of the aisle, in the Democrat side, as well as 3 independents, 2 independents and 1 libertarian as well. So this is a race that a lot of folks will be watching tonight. Kevin Hern is expected to be the winner here. But I think what will be interesting to see in this seat is whether or not Kevin Hearn can win this primary outright, or whether this one's going to go to a runoff.
Always interesting. Of course, Kevin Hearn, longtime CD1 representative there, and has a lot of name recognition, and obviously thought to be the leader when it goes into that race. Dalton, of course, we'll check back with you on all these races. Dalton in our war room tonight. You can see behind him that we literally have the whole team on board, crunching the numbers, getting the latest results, working their phones, which is probably the most important thing when it comes to some of these races. Those connections that we have, really important, and we're going to be using those for you tonight. So Dalton, glad to have you on board. Let's go to the big board. You're going to like this tonight because Adam Maxey is with us, our Vice President of Government Affairs from the big board. He's already got his sleeves rolled up. We like it. And Adam, break down those congressional district races for us when it comes to the federal contingent from Oklahoma.
Yeah, thank you, Brent. Appreciate that. So tonight you have Republican primaries for 4 of our 5 congressional seats. The lone member of the delegation not facing a primary is Congresswoman Stephanie Bice from the 5th district here. We know that mainly Oklahoma City district. We'll go through in reverse order here a little bit. House Appropriations Chairman Tom Cole, the first Appropriations Chairman of the House of Representatives in the history from Oklahoma in the history of our state, has a primary challenge. I don't expect that to be much of a challenge. It is somewhat of a challenge in name only. You'll remember last cycle that the chairman had a challenge somewhat contentiously from a gentleman named Paul Bondar, who actually ran for another congressional seat somewhere else in the country this year. So
he was from Texas to start with, though, right?
Illinois, Texas, it was unsure. We do know he did the interview in an office. In the 3rd congressional district, Congressman Frank Lucas, who is the dean of the delegation, first elected in a special election in 1994 during the Gingrich Revolution, there faces a familiar opponent in a Enid pastor, Wade Burleson. Burleson ran against him 2 cycles ago. It in the end didn't mount too much of a challenge. I think you'll see probably similar result tonight, but we'll be tracking that across far western Oklahoma, the largest district by land area, represented by the dean of the delegation, Congressman Frank Lucas. Over in the 2nd, Congressman Josh Burkeen does have a challenger by the name of Will Webb. I don't expect that to be much of a race for the incumbent Congressman Burkeen. We think he'll have that one handled pretty squarely, but we want to keep an eye on that. But the real one we're going to talk about tonight is the 1st congressional district in Tulsa. That is a large primary that's had lots of drama associated with it. You'll remember, as Dalton covered a second ago, that seat is vacated because when Secretary Mullen was appointed to his position, Congressman Hearn declared his intentions to run for U.S. Senate and paved the way for a very, very crowded primary in the 1st congressional district. I think we're a couple of people we want to watch tonight, though. We're going to look at State Representative Mark Tedford, who's been able to put a lot of his own cash in the race and run this in this short sprint of a race, has been able to run a campaign and be up and stay on TV for a long time. Obviously, you have Trump-endorsed Owasso pastor Jackson Lahmeyer. He's not a stranger to Oklahoma politics. He ran against our senior Senator James Lankford several years ago to no avail. However, this time he's back with a Trump endorsement, but without, along with some baggage that's come with that. And over the weekend, some reporting that's come out on his personal life. And then you have businessmen from kind of over here, the Owasso area that is inside the 1st congressional district. Nathan Butterfield has been able to put a lot of his own money in as well and run this race, run very close. I think those are the 3 horses you want to look at tonight. But you also have sitting corporation commissioner and former Senate floor leader Kim David is in the race, and former aides Jim Inhofe and Mayor G.T. Bynum, Jed Cochran are also running. Those are 2 people I wouldn't count out. Great political networks for both of them. It's a very crowded primary, though, that's played out a lot like a special election that we're going to have to keep an eye on all night tonight, Brent.
It is going to be interesting, and let's talk more about those races because a lot of recognizable names there. Kim David, someone that I thought would run a very strong campaign, and maybe we're a little insulated here in Oklahoma City and not hearing a whole lot about it. But I thought with her name recognition across the state, that would be a definite contender when it comes to that race. All right, the race for governor has been publicized. Fair to say, some money has been spent on TV commercials. If you haven't seen a gubernatorial TV commercial or an AG TV commercial, I don't know where you've been, but let's welcome in Emily Crouch. She is, of course, the Senior Vice President of Government Affairs for the State Chamber. And Emily, these are the big boys when it comes to the state itself. These statewide races are going to be very fun to watch.
Yeah, very fun indeed. But it's been 18-month journey already. The first candidate for governor announced in January of 2025. So we are not, these names are not unknown. We've heard about them for quite a long time. We've got 9 Republicans in the field, and I'd say 5 of them fall into the category of names that are known. There's a few front runners there with Drummond serving as our AG right now, Charles McCall, longest serving Speaker in our House, Mike Mazie, also a former state senator and served in a gubernatorial cabinet under Kevin Stitt. And then a name that not many of us are unfamiliar with, Chip Keating. His father served as governor. He also played a hand in the Stitt administration as a cabinet secretary. A little lesser known name, but certainly kind of made his way into the field. Jake Merrick was a state senator for Senate District 22, just kind of near my neck of the woods, actually, for a few years after Congresswoman Bice left the state Senate and went to Congress. He actually took over her seat in a special election, did not get reelected after serving that term. And so throwing his hat in the ring for governor, exciting for him. A few other names Leslie Mitchell Haynes, business owner, Kenneth Sturgill, Jennifer Dominico, and Caleb Anthony Taylor. Don't think we'll see huge numbers from them tonight, but certainly their name is on the ballot. And if you went to the poll this morning, you ran down a list of quite a few names. On the Democratic ticket, we've got 3 contenders, Cindy Munson, most recently the House Minority Leader, and has been in the legislature for a 12-year term in which she is now terming out. We're going to talk a little bit more tonight about, excited to have a couple of other colleagues that will talk a little bit more about spending, but just profile a little bit. The other Democrats, Connie Johnson served in the state Senate for several years. She actually ran for governor in 18, 22, 24, and now in 26. So she does have some name ID on a ballot across the state over the last few cycles. She was a party vice chair for the Democrats, so known within the Democratic Party. And then the final candidate there for the Democrats is Arya Ozma. Hope I'm saying that correctly. He previously ran for the U.S. Senate in 2022. He's also thrown his hat into the ring for governor. So we've got some independent candidates that will challenge, and we will have a likely runoff, for sure a runoff for our Republicans, and a possible runoff for Democrat and independents. And so we'll keep eyes on that. Results have come in. I'm getting text that refresh the page, elections.ok.gov, which is where I think we're all going to be getting our results for the night, as well as from friends in the field. Looks like Gettner is in the lead right now with early votes, about 20,000 early votes coming in. So that's exciting. And I know our friends at home are watching, and they are excited that we have started this. We're taking the group text live. So I hope everyone's participating. I hope they've got their cocktails. We are hydrating because it's going to be a long night. And so on that governor ticket, quite a few names. Moving on to lieutenant governor, we have a field of 6 Republicans, a handful of current state legislators, a few that walked away from the legislature actually to run for this seat, and others that were termed out. Current state legislators there are Daryl Weaver from Senate District 24 in Oklahoma City, Representative J.J. Humphreys out of Southeast Oklahoma, he is termed out, and then Representative Brian Hill from the Mustang area. He is actually stepping away from the House to run for this seat. T.W. Shannon, not an unknown name to many. He was a former Speaker of the House from 2013 to 2014. He stepped away to run for U.S. Senate, has a banking background, is currently a USDA administrator and executive. And through that connection to the federal government, that is likely his connection to his Trump endorsement. So T.W. Shannon, kind of the expected leader for the night in the lieutenant governor race. I didn't mention, and I can't believe I didn't. Maybe I'm getting my jitters out. Mike Mazzei secured Trump's endorsement late May 29th, out on Truth Social. President Trump endorsed Mike Mazzei. And so I think that's thrown the last 15, 16 days into kind of a tailspin for the governor's races we've seen across the country, where Trump has made endorsements and how it's impacting statewide and even state legislative races. So that dynamic is definitely a play in our governor and our lieutenant governor race.
Emily, to expand on that a
very
little
good.
bit, to expand on that endorsement a little bit, going before that endorsement, Gettner had a pretty sizable lead in most of the polling that we were seeing. He had spent a lot of money, but it's just proof on how important and how powerful that endorsement is in the state of Oklahoma right now from President Trump.
Yeah, I mean, the president likes to remind people when he's talking to the media that Oklahoma went for him in every election very quickly in all 77 counties. And so I think it's definitely impactful. I think we'll see how it plays out tonight, though, and even into the runoff, how closely that the policies and the initiatives of Mazzei align with Trump, and maybe even the others align with Trump too. So we'll see. It came up in the debate that News 9, News 6, and the Hospital Association hosted the other night, and I thought it was a interesting dynamic to watch them all fight over wishing they had that endorsement. Moving on to Dalton, do you want to step in on Attorney General?
Yeah, you bet. Well, I think somebody mentioned it earlier. This has been a really contested race. It seems like my mailbox has been full of mailers just about every day from the Attorney General campaigns. And big reason for that, obviously, is because this race, at least on the Republican side, is going to be decided tonight. There's only two candidates that have filed for the next Attorney General, John Echols and Jeff Starling. So John Echols, obviously a lot of us know from his days as a representative. He was the majority leader of the state house until he termed out a couple of years ago, and he threw his name into the hat in this campaign. And then Jeff Starling, who is the current Secretary of Energy Environment in Kevin Stitt's, Governor Stitt's cabinet, has also thrown his hat into the race. And so, like I said, this one is a really hotly contested race that will be decided tonight. Whoever wins the Republican primary tonight is going to go on to face Nick Coffey in the general, but there will be no runoff. So after tonight, the campaign will begin into the general. So that one's another hotly contested race there. Want to go on to other statewides here that are on the ballot. We'll kind of jump around here, but I'm going to start with state superintendent down here in the corner. This is a really crowded field on the Republican side. You've got John Cox, who is a former administrator, and a lot of you probably have recognized his name. He is this is his fourth campaign for state superintendent. Now, then you've got Adam Pugh, who is the Senate Education Committee chairman. Currently, he's got a free run to run for this since he's in the middle of his Senate term. So he's got a free run to run for state superintendent. Another legislator in this race on the House side, Representative Toni Hassenbeck, who's a former teacher, a state representative. She would have to give up her seat since she is at the end of her 2-year term in the House. Robert Franklin is another administrator from the public ed side that has gotten into this race. He got into this race a little bit later than the others did, but he's certainly made a lot of waves and gotten a lot of attention. He's a Oklahoma Educators Hall of Fame inductee and has a lot of education background that he brings to this race. And then a couple more in this race. Deborah Hurley. I think I'm saying that right, Hurley, is an SNU researcher that is also in the race. And then William Crozier, who has ran before, comes from an ODOT background, a transportation background, and then James Taylor, who is a pastor and an educator. So really crowded field here in the Republican side. There is a Democrat primary, but that one only has two folks in the field there. Craig McVeigh, who is a El Reno superintendent, former El Reno superintendent, and then Janetti Marshall, who is a Tulsa school board member, both with some public education background they bring into this race. On the Democrat side, that one will be decided tonight as well. Moving on to another race, we've got Keith Beal with the Petroleum Alliance, and he cares a lot about this race, and we do too, in the Corporation Commission race. This is another one that will be decided tonight. A Representative Brad Bowles, who chairs the Energy and Natural Resources Committee in the House of Representatives, has stepped away from his role as a state representative to run for Corporation Commission, as well as Justin Hornback. Justin Hornback is from Broken Arrow. He has ran before for a Corporation Commission seat in 2022 and 2024. Now this seat being vacated by Commissioner Todd Hyatt is up for grabs. These two will face off tonight in the Republican primary. And then there's a three-way primary on the Democrat side. Harold Spradling, who has ran before, Rhonda Eastman, and Donald Clytus, all of those coming from different backgrounds, oil and gas, trucking, utilities, different backgrounds on the Democrat side. That's a three-way primary on the Democrat side to face whoever comes out on top tonight in the Corporation Commission race. And then the last one that I'll talk about on the statewide side is the state treasurer. This is, again, a two-way primary between the incumbent, Todd Russ, who was a former representative from Cordell, won the treasurer's race in 2022, has been serving the last 4 years, up for re-election this year. He's got a challenger who is the former state auditor in Oklahoma, Cindy Byrd. Cindy Byrd, if you guys remember back, she filed originally, or was planning to file for the lieutenant governor's race. But at the last second, a few days after the filing period had begun, stepped into the treasurer's race. So two-way primary there for the state treasurer, Republican ticket. They will face a challenger in the general, a libertarian, Kiefer Perry, from, I don't think he's going to be in the general, excuse me. So that race will go to the general to face Kiefer and whoever comes out on top tonight. Emily, do you want to talk about labor commissioner and some of the other statewide that we have left?
Yeah, I'll run through labor pretty quickly. A couple of state house members, John Pfeiffer and Kevin West. John Pfeiffer is actually terming out of his seat, and we'll talk more about that tonight. Kevin West is stepping away. Keith Swinton is a engineer and has run for this position a couple times. So a name that's been on the ballot before. Lisa Janlew has run for office before, was not successful, and so is switching races to labor commissioner. So we will definitely have a runoff there. Jumping to insurance, we've got 4 Republicans, and what I'm gathering from today's conversations, it could be a Quinn Sullivan runoff. Very early to be saying that, but that's kind of what the room is telling me. We've known a couple of these candidates for quite a long time. Senator Quinn, obviously, when he was serving in Senate District 2, Chris Meredith with Farmers Insurance, a member of the state chamber for a long time, government affairs executive there. Bob Sullivan, somewhat new to us, and from the insurance industry. He's actually from the Tulsa, Inola area. And then Greta Schuler is from the Shawnee area. She actually serves on the city council there, and a former chairman of ours, Chuck Mills, is pretty close with Greta and has been working hard for her to get her here tonight. So they will likely end up in a runoff is what we are being told. Those, I think, are all the statewide races. And I know we've got, we were going to talk through some state questions to kind of just set the stage. We also have a guest joining us, hopefully here any minute.
Hey,
Um,
Emily, I want to break in for 2 seconds and get people up to speed. Of course, a lot of people have already cast their ballot before today, and those are showing up on the election website. Of course, when it comes to governor, all eyes on the commander-in-chief for the state of Oklahoma. Is that right? I don't know that we're technically commander-in-chief for Oklahoma.
I think you
Anyway.
just made it up. It's gonna be ours for the night.
You've got Gettner Drummond with 11,000, just over 11,000 votes, and Mike Mazie very close at 10,900. So 10 of 1,984 precincts reporting, but it looks to be a very close race between those two. And then in a distant third with just over 6,000 votes is Chip Keating. So I think some
Yeah.
of the predictions are correct in that it was going to be a Mazie-Gettner kind of race.
I'm gonna caution you that it is very early. It is very early. There are 39,000 votes in, and what we're probably gonna get over 400,000. So we'll see if these trends keep up. It looks like maybe our guest has joined us. Brent, is that right?
I believe so. Looks like we have a very familiar face to people that are political aficionados around here, but very popular across the state. Emily, I will let you
Hey,
talk
Mr.
to
Pro
the pro
Tem.
tem.
How's it
Hi.
going?
It's going fine. How are you all?
Good. Hey, thanks for joining us. We're trying out this new thing where we get on Zoom and talk about the election results. So we'll see if it pans out. But you're our first guest, so hopefully we don't drop you from the Zoom call
Okay.
and we don't mute you by accident. Just kind of want to know what's on your mind tonight. Several incumbents that have challengers that we are equally worried about and want to make sure we see them come back. And then
Right.
4 open seats that we're tracking that could have some new faces that could be good for the dynamic. So just kind of tell us what's on your mind. What are you focusing on?
Well, this is obviously the time of year, an election year, that everything kind of comes to a head on election day. So you have I've been there before. A lot of people have, but it's election night, and you're sitting at home, or you're at your watch party watching the results come in. So we're all kind of in that same boat. And we've been working hard for a lot of people, and this is a night we kind of see what the voters have to think, see if we've done a good enough job convincing the voters about what we're trying to do in the state.
Yeah, do you feel like the issues that you guys tackled during session will kind of scratch the itch or appease some of the concerns I think that we heard at the beginning of session? Property taxes in particular, just kind of other issues that have been bubbling up, private property rights, things like that.
Yep. I mean, of course, one thing popped to the head of it all, and a lot of this was with the help of the state chamber, was putting education at the front of the line, and it really was. And you kind of go look at everything, and I keep saying, I think that this isn't something you just fix this year and you see the results next year. This is something that's going to take a few years, but I do think at some point in the near future, we're going to look back on 2026 and say that was the pivotal year when Oklahoma education turned the corner. So I think we did a lot of great things to make that happen. A lot of other issues out there. A lot of issues are specific to individual districts. There's something maybe a big issue on the eastern side of the state that's not an issue on the western side of the state. So every race is its own race, and they always say politics is local, and it is. And so but all the candidates have been out there doing their retail campaigning, which means you're pounding the pavement, knocking the doors, meeting the voters. And usually the people who work the hardest at doing that are pretty successful on election night. And I know a lot of people have been doing it for a long time. A lot of senators would be at work at the Capitol Monday through Thursday during session, and as soon as they leave on Thursday, they were home hitting the doors and working hard. So we're hoping for great results tonight, but at the end, it's up to us to convince the voters to vote the way that we would like to convince them that we're doing things the right way for the state.
Yeah. Kind of looking at the election map, I don't think there's any seats that we think might flip from Republican to Democrat or Democrat to Republican. It's pretty, pretty aware of where the partisan divide is. But on those open seats with Brent Howard leaving early, Yek terming out, Weaver running for lieutenant governor, and Jett hitting his term limit as well, any race in particular you're going to be hitting the refresh button on?
All the races are on my
Yeah.
favorites list. And so, yeah, I'm on the election board website looking at all of those. And we will, but we really do anticipate there will probably be a minimum of 5 Senate runoffs this year. So
Okay.
we think a lot of those have multiple candidates in those and could very easily have at least, I would say 5, maybe up to 7 Senate runoffs. And so we will see and see where it all shakes out. But yeah, it's there's people fighting hard for the jobs and, they're wanting to represent the state. So, it's our jobs as candidates to go convince the voters that that's what we need to be doing and that they need to vote for us. So, this is kind of when it all comes to where we see what it's going to turn out. So it's happening as we're talking.
Yeah, no, I think I've been at a couple watch parties with you where we're just watching it unfold and we're like, oh my.
Yeah.
The one thing that kind of hit Adam Dalton and I earlier as we were sitting around talking, Lieutenant Governor, we are going to have a new tiebreaker vote for you guys, a new, I don't know what the technical term of the lieutenant governor is when they have to come in and break the tie. They're not the president of the Senate, or are they?
They are the president of the Senate.
So you got to pass the president.
Yeah, the president pro tem is the position I hold, but the actual president of the Senate is the lieutenant governor. I've been there 10 years and we have not yet called on a lieutenant governor to come in to break a tie.
So probably no breaking news tonight that we're going to have a lieutenant governor come in and break a tie, but
I don't know what that would be, but it could happen. But in order for there to be a need to bring lieutenant governor in, the vote has to be tied 24-24. That means everybody has to be there and it has to be evenly divided at 24-24. And it has to be a vote that the lieutenant governor wants to come in and vote. I don't think, I've never tried this, that we can compel the lieutenant governor to come in and vote, but I think we could ask them to. And so, but it hasn't happened in the last 10 years. I think the last time Todd Lamb actually was involved in that was with a vote on gross production taxes.
okay. Yeah. No,
And
many of us remember
that goes back a ways.
Yeah, a little bit. The war room just went black, but I was going to kick it over to Chad, see if he had any questions for the pro tem before we let him go and get back to refreshing his screen like I know many of us are. Oh, I see Dalton and Keith bellying up. They might have a question. for him.
Chad left.
You
Chad
didn't tell me.
stepped
You didn't tell me. Nobody warned me Keith was going to be on this.
It is the best get of the night. Keith is
Best
like,
energy
like-
chair ever. Lonnie
yeah.
Johnson. Yeah.
Chad just stepped out, so he must have some good scoop that he'll have to fill us in on later.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Pro Tem, thank you for joining us. We know it's a busy night. We'll be texting you and checking in and just, we're thinking about the races that you are.
I appreciate the you all putting this together. I think it's great.
We'll see. We'll
All right.
see ya. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Very cool. Like we said, we're going to have a lot of very important people on the show today. And of course, the Speaker Pro Tem, very influential when it comes to Oklahoma politics right now. Always happy to get him on the show as well. Thank you, Speaker, for joining us. Let's get back to some of those.
I'm going to jump in because we're being informal tonight. That was the Senate Pro Tem, not the Speaker Pro
I'm
Tem.
saying yes, the Senate Pro Tem. Yes, very, very good. Semantics are incredibly important in that.
They are
situation.
very, very important.
Incredibly important. But you and
I think
this-
we paused a little bit so that, but Adam was going to cover state questions. Adam,
the
are you
questions,
gonna
but we
take
also need to run down some of those Senate seats that Lonnie was just talking about as well. So
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. Happy to do whichever you guys want to do first.
Adam, you got a preference, bud?
Keeping it casual,
Yeah,
friends.
let's keep it here and let's talk about some of the Senate seats. That's timely. We've got quite a few contested seats in the Senate as well as a few open seats. It's gonna be a very long night, a bit of a nail biter for the Senate as we go through what are several open seats from forced by term limits. You're looking at the Shawnee seat, Senate District 17, Senator Shane Jett, term limited, a very outspoken member, leader of the Freedom Caucus. That seat is up for grabs. Senate District 24 vacated by Senator Weaver, running, as previously mentioned, running for Lieutenant Governor. Senate District 26, that's Western Oklahoma. You're looking at Kingfisher, Weatherford, down I-40 there. Is an open seat up for grabs with several challengers, probably looking at a runoff there. And then down in Southwest Oklahoma, you have Altus up to Elk City being vacated by Brent Howard, the Senate Judiciary Chairman, not seeking another term. There's several contested incumbents tonight as well. Keith, do you want to run us down some of those and kind of talk us through some of those races where we've got sitting members of the Senate? Some of them may be running for their life tonight.
Oh, there we go.
Looks like we're trying.
Oh, no,
Okay.
Dalton had some, Dalton messed us up. No, just kidding. We have, Senate District 4, far eastern Oklahoma. We've got, Tom Woods, the incumbent. So very early right there. We got 4 precincts in and he's sitting at about 59%. So he's, started off well in absentee, early voting and election day. So he's doing good. Senate District 10, Ponca City, Osage, and even into a little bit of Tulsa County in the northern part around Skytook. Senator Coleman, we only have 1 precinct reporting there, so we'll come back to that. But we're expecting a close race in that one also. Senate District 18, Senator Jack Stewart's seat, which is basically Yukon and a little bit of Oklahoma County around Bethany area, around Lake Overholser. That race doesn't have any precincts reporting yet. Then we have Senate District 20, which is Senator Chuck Hall Appropriation Chairman seat. So we're waiting on that. We have the early vote and the absentee, but we don't have any day of voting and precincts in yet. And Senate District 28, which is Senator Green, which is Lincoln County, Logan County, Oklahoma County, Pott, and Seminole counties. We have 1 precinct in, and so we're watching that. That race is basically, for intents purposes, tied right now. So we're watching that. And then a big one down in the Lawton area is Senate District 32, 3-way with Senator Devers and 2 other opponents, with no precincts reporting yet. So we'll watch that as the night transpires. But we're gonna have a lot of close races, and we're just waiting for the election board to get up, and we're getting some reports from some of our friends out in the field. So we'll come back and report on those. Thanks, Brent.
Yeah, thank you, Keith. As it was mentioned a couple times, we're going to keep reminding you for a while. It is very early tonight. So some of these results are extremely preliminary as we're firing off some numbers to you. Those numbers will harden up over the course of the night. Do we want to go to state question real quick?
Yeah, let's talk state question, because you and I, Adam, have been dealing with that a lot. Of course, the state chamber's really been carrying the flag when it comes to the no side of that state question.
Yeah, that's right, Brent. Honestly, state question 832 is the question that would has been put to the voters to raise the minimum wage via initiative petition. So you think about this. This has been going on for 3 years, little longer maybe. We're talking. This was filed with the Secretary of State's office in October of 2023. It's been a long and winding road to get here. We've been to the Supreme Court. We've been to community forums. We've been on TV. We've been in your mailbox. This campaign has been everywhere on the no side and the yes side. A pretty hotly contested issue here, and one that we're going to be keeping a very close eye on throughout the night. I just warned everybody about early results and not getting too excited, and I want to reiterate that. We're currently with just a few places reporting across the state. You've got the no side up at about 54% to about 46% on the yes side. Again, very early. McKenna, if you give me the statewide map real quick, I'm going to talk about some things we're going to look at in this race. Just real quickly for everybody. Yeah, right here. So a couple of things to keep in mind. There are several areas of Oklahoma that statewide campaigns don't buy television in. It's just not cost effective to do so. And so not just for 832, but you're going to keep this in mind for some other statewide races. The Panhandle gets their TV from Amarillo, Texas. Down here, McCurtain County, Shreveport, Louisiana. Up here, you got Joplin, Missouri, and over some of Fort Smith, Arkansas. Those places don't get Oklahoma TV. They're a little insulated from the deluge of political spending that's happened on the airwaves. So it's interesting to watch how some of those counties vote. But generally speaking, state question 832, we're keeping an eye on how much the no side, how many votes those rack up in rural Oklahoma, these early reporting counties. While the yes campaign is really looking at 5 or 6 places, maybe Tulsa, Cherokee, Payne, Oklahoma, Cleveland, and Comanche, maybe Pontotoc. Those are the places the yes campaign is could potentially run the numbers up and carry them to victory should they prevail tonight. But something we're going to keep track of all night as as these results are coming in is sort of those counties and the margin of victory in these different counties, particularly those that I just named for the yes side, and how that's going to impact the overall results.
Hey, Adam, how do we think that voter turnout is going to affect this race?
Yeah, turnout's going to be a big question we've got to answer tonight. As we've talked about a lot of Republican races, and as you might guess, Republicans, conservatives may be more against the mandate to raise the wage than their Democrat counterparts. There is less to vote on for Democrats on ballots throughout the state. There's not an incumbent Democrat in the state Senate with a primary challenger. Those are races that aren't on the ballot in places. You do have a congressional primary on the Democrat side in the 5th. So that helps. And you've got a primary on the governor's side, as Emily covered earlier. So, but you're looking at probably comparing this to 2018, which was big turnout. The last time we had all these statewide races were open seats on the ballot. Back then, you had almost 900,000 Oklahomans come out to vote. That was about 44%-ish eligible turnout. So we've got more registered voters now. So we'll see if that number carries, if we're going to have that sort of voter enthusiasm tonight, or things are going to drip toward lower turnout, maybe like they were in 22 when we saw only about 19 or 20% turnout statewide. So really something to keep an eye on, Brent. I'll tell you, I think higher turnout probably means better for the yes side on 832, but I'm not sure. It's all dependent on where that turnout is at and the intensity that some of these other primary races have driven people to the polls.
Well, and doing the history there too, 18, of course, was the medical marijuana race, correct?
That's right. There's a bit of an anomaly there. More people voted on that state question than voted on elected positions. So what you had there was a lot of intensity for folks to come out and vote and legalize medical marijuana. We'll see if that exists for the minimum wage or not. The other wrinkle here being the bit of the paperwork snafu by the state Democrat Party did not file their appropriate paperwork to open their primaries to independents. So Oklahoma registered independents only have one thing to vote on, and that's this question. And we'll see if those who maybe were conditioned to traditionally voting in Democrat primaries still come out to vote when all they have is a state question to vote on.
Will be interesting. All right, Adam, we'll check in. Of course, you're on top of that, specifically that state question for us. Let's get back to Emily, because Emily, you and Dalton have been following those critical House races. We talked about some of those important Senate seats, but there are a number of House races that are important as well as we get into the meat and potatoes of tonight, correct?
Yeah, several that we're going to be tapping back into and looking at throughout the night. Some that we just know are going to be just kind of outright easy wins, if you will, and some others that we'll be watching all the precincts come in. Dalton, you're covering open. Do you want to start there, or you want me to go to incumbents?
We can start with open here. So there are 19 open seats in the House of Representatives. One of those has already been decided. So 18 challenges in the primary. So that's a lot of new faces in the House Republican caucus, and as well as the Democrat caucus that has a few open seats as well. So this first one, House District 9, this is up in Rogers and Tulsa counties. So covers Claremore and Collinsville. This is the seat that Representative Mark LePac held. And I'm refreshing my telephone right now to see if I can get us any live results, but it looks like there's not very many precincts coming in on that one yet. No precincts in yet, just early and absentee voting. It looks like Scotty Stokes has 400 votes. Thank you, Keith. The next one, House District 38. This one is the open seat, very, very rural district up in the northern part of the state. This one was held by Representative Pfeiffer, who's running for Labor Commissioner. This is a really, really crowded field. So you have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 folks in this primary. And you've got 9 precincts reporting. Who's up right now? It looks like Danielle Dieterding is up right now, pretty close to Madison Bole. So it looks like the two of those are coming out pretty competitively right now. But that seat's likely going to head to a runoff with such a crowded field. The next one, House District 40, that one is up in Enid. That's a purely Enid. It's kind of a donut hole up there. This one is the seat that Chad Caldwell held. He's termed out. There's two folks in the Republican primary here. So Kinsley Jordan and Tori Turnbow are the two there. So this Republican primary will be decided tonight. You've got 3%, or excuse me, 3 precincts reporting tonight, and it looks like Kinsley is ahead 52%, with Tori coming in at 47%. So that's very early to tell there, and it seems like it's pretty close. The next one here, House District 47. This is the one down in Mustang. We have no precincts reporting yet, just early and absentee voting. This is the seat that Brian Hill held. He's running for lieutenant governor, vacating this seat. That's kind of a crowded field there. You've got four folks in this primary, 3 of which are named Kevin. So Kevin with an A, Kevin Gentry, right now is coming in at 29, almost 30%. And then Toby Thompson coming in at 31%. That one's likely to go to a runoff as well. But again, that's only early and absentee voting, as no precincts are reporting there in Mustang. And then the next one, House District 51. This is an interesting seat. One, because that's where I'm from, and 2, the makeup of this map is really interesting. You've got Blanchard, Newcastle area, goes up, got a little bit of East Tuttle, which is a really growing population, but then that district goes all the way down south to Marlow. This is the seat that Representative Bowles held before he announced his run for corporation commissioner. So you've got 2 folks in the Republican primary. This one will be decided tonight. Only 1 precinct reporting, and it looks like Cole Stevens is ahead by 11 votes. Yeah, so that one's very, very tight, and we'll keep an eye on that one. Next one, House District 54. This one is down in the Moore area. Again, no precincts reporting there. But it looks like early and absentee, you've got Heath Kufal and Alexander Torvey neck and neck in that one as well. Next one, House District 69. This one up in the Jinx, Tulsa area. Again, no precincts reporting there, but you've got Sheila Dills, Angela Strom, Cody Nichols, and Carrie DeWeese. Sheila Dills, you guys may remember, held this seat previously. She left the legislature, but is now running again, and looks like she is up by 130 votes around, give or take. But again, no precincts reporting in that one. And then the last open seat that we're watching this evening is House District 81. This is a seat up in Edmond. Representative Mike Osborne decided to resign and not seek re-election, leaving this one open. So you've got 3 folks in the Republican primary. You've also got 2 folks in the Democrat primary in this race. On the Republican side, no precincts reporting. Rusty Raines, Amber Canary, and Troy Talley, all seeking the Republican nomination there. And then on the Democrat side, you've got Jason Lankford, and then you've got, let me get my notes here, make sure I don't screw up somebody's name. Megan Hornby Gallen, that's right. Yeah. So again, no precincts reporting in that one either, but those are just some of the open seats we're watching. Emily, yes, this is Cindy Munson's seat. 3-way
I just
Democrat.
Marco Rubio did. I walked out of the shot. I'm back.
On the Democrat primary in Cindy Munson's seat, this one's here in Oklahoma City. No precincts reporting. Estefania Grunstein, Chelsea Branham, and Braxton Banks in the Democrat primary there. But it looks like Chelsea Branham, who is a former legislator and was in the House of Representatives, is up quite a bit, 350 votes. She's got 68% of early and absentee voting right now. So just a few seats that we're watching on the open side, open seats of these House races.
Very good. Let's go breaking news. Of course, we've got the inside connection on a number of different races, and we are getting on very, very, very good inside scoop, as it were, that John Kane, representative, big friend
Big-
of the
big
chamber as
win.
well.
Big
Big
win. He was running against a former state legislator, Wendy Stearman, who served one term. He actually beat her in the 22 cycle. So glad to see that kind of put this rematch to bed, if you will. And Kane took it all, getting some feedback from some Bartlesville friends, and percent is important to watch because that tells us really who's in the lead there in Washington County. I think there's been a dynamic in their GOP party recently that had some of us wondering how well Representative Kane would do, and not surprising, 70%. So way to go, Representative Kane.
Kane's-
Can we go back?
Kane's Well,
Can we go back
Kane's
to-
important too when it comes to appropriations as well. Of course, he holds a lot of sway when it comes to that, and that's important to keep continuity with the current legislature as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, we saw an appropriations chair in the House last cycle be defeated, and that just really shook up a lot of things. The appropriations process in the House is great. Don't want to say it's not, but good continuity of leadership there. Scott, will you take us back to the House races that we're watching? I want to run through a couple of incumbents really quickly because we want to get to a couple of other things. We're having so much fun. This is like, who knew we were all want to be TV anchors?
It's not hard.
So we not all of us, I guess. Brent's back in the saddle. We covered HD 11, which is John Kane, took it all. HD 12 is Mark Chapman. He is running against a county commissioner with some name ID. HD 20, Jonathan Wilk down in the Goldsby Blanchard area, running against the same opponent that he had in the primary in the 24 cycle. He did obviously defeat this gentleman. He went on to the runoff and ran against someone else, but there is some name ID for this guy, at least in the neck of the woods that he's from, for HD 20. And I'm trying to do 10 things at once, so I'm not seeing the results. So Dalton, if you see any of the results for some of these, let me know. HD 29, Speakers District, we're hopefully gonna have him on here pretty soon. He had a challenger that will be a winner take all tonight, and I'm confident he will come through that, and I look forward to talking to him soon. HD 31 up in the Guthrie area is Colin Dool. He's running against a candidate who he has run against once before, and actually his opponent, Carmen Greider, has run a couple of times up in that seat. So that's one that we're definitely going to keep an eye on. That is a race that has just kind of been hotly contested over the last few cycles. So definitely one we want to watch. 36, John George in Eastern Oklahoma County. He's got a couple of Republican candidates, one who is running definitely to the right of him, kind of a Republican activist. And so we'll see kind of where he comes out. HD 42, Cindy Rowe, again, down in that kind of South Central area. She's more of the Lindsay area. She is running against a right conservative, farther right conservative. I don't want to skip over all of these, but HD 96, this is Preston Stinson's seat in the Edmond area, kind of over into Arcadia. He has again, another rematch. We're seeing a lot of rematches here. A candidate that he's run against before. This has been dicey. This race, the male in this race is just, AI is a big tool. We're all using it for all kinds of things, but man, a couple of people that I know live in the area and they've shared the mail with me, and it is just, it's ferocious. HD 98 is another rematch. Former state legislator Dean Davis, who's stepped away from the legislature, lost his seat in what does my notes say? 22, I believe. No, 24. This last cycle. He is running against Gabe Woolley, who is a current incumbent. And then HD 99, AJ Pittman vacated this seat earlier this year after some criminal charges and issues with her campaign finance. And so there are 5 Democrats running in this race. Definitely going to go to a runoff, held by Anastasia Pittman, George Young, obviously most recently AJ Pittman. Talked to some tonight. They're keeping an eye on a couple of these candidates, and so as we see some more results come in, we'll see if they're right. top 2 or 3 contenders are kind of making it to the top. So wanted to touch base on those incumbent challengers, but excited for John Kane. Go HD11.
That
You
is
bet.
great news. That is great
Just,
news. Hey,
Just
let's
an
get you up to
update real
speed.
quick, Brent, on,
Yeah.
since you mentioned it, Emily, on the speakers race. Looks like 4 precincts are reporting right now, and he's got 75% of the vote, so he's looking good up there.
Very good.
And then I'm getting a news alert from a news channel that Cindy Munson has won the Democratic nomination. So there you go.
Well, Cindy, of course, running for governor, and on the Republican side, according to the election board, their website says 26.5% of precincts reporting, with Gettner Drummond 28,000 votes, Mike Mazie 27,000 votes, and Chip Keating a distant third at 19,000. So a race that a lot of people predicted would come down to those two is looking more and more like that was accurately predicted. Let's talk about that important Congressional District 1 when it comes to our federal delegation. Adam, what you got going on, man?
Yeah, thanks, Brent. We've got CD1 up here. I want you to just quickly note, I think Congressman McKean has wrapped up his race in the second over here to the east. And Congressman Lucas and Congressman Cole are handling their business as well. Those races should be called fairly shortly for those long-term incumbents and leaders of the Oklahoma delegation. But here in the first, I think what's probably going to turn into a 2-horse race tonight between State Representative Mark Tedford and Pastor Jackson Lahmeyer, though you've got some interesting results as core Tulsa County, right, where a majority of this district sits. Right now you have Mark Tedford is in the lead here. Then there's little pieces of Rogers County over here. That's actually where Lahmeyer is leading there. That's a very small, several precincts in Rogers County. Over here in Creek County and down in the parts of Wagner County that this district encompasses as well, those are being led by Nathan Butterfield. He is in a distant third place right now. We'll see as things come in who closes the gap, or if Butterfield and Tedford and Lahmeyer continue to pull away. We'll see. I think what we're going to want to watch down here is this South Tulsa area. This is a very populated Broken Arrow, Jinx, Bixby over here. This is a very populated, densely populated Republican area. This sort of swath of precincts right here, that's going to be where we watch. That's going to be late tonight as we see those coming in continually. For a lot of races, those are going to be important. I want to highlight those that were zoomed in there. Densely populated Republican area down here in southern Tulsa County. We're going to keep an eye on that, Brent.
You're using that pen like a champ, buddy. I love it. I love it. Looks good. Hey, a little good news for you while you're there. 29% of the precincts reporting on State Question 832. The no's have 107,000. The yeses have 83,000. So still early, 30%-ish.
Still very early. I think we've seen some of the precincts in Oklahoma County that have come in where you may have expected the margin to be a little higher for Democrat turnout or yes votes. Let's say less yes votes on State Question 832 with the nomination already called for Representative Munson. I don't know. We'll see where this goes. Like you said, a lot of time left tonight. But if we called it right now, things would look okay. But I'm not holding my breath just yet. We're going to keep checking in on that one. Thanks, Brent.
Well, we promised we were going to get you up to speed with some of the most critical information when it comes to the numbers of the election today, primary election day in Oklahoma 2026. So let's get into that war room, because Dalton's standing by with a very interesting set of facts with a very, very well-read man when it comes to these kind of elections. Go ahead.
Yeah, you bet. We've got HJ Reed here. HJ is he is a well-known figure around the Capitol. And
It's the nicest thing you could say.
He puts together every election cycle a report called Inside the Numbers. I actually printed it off. I've got it here with me. But HJ, why don't you talk a little bit about Inside the Numbers, kind of the reports that you do and why you do it?
So one of the things that people always ask us is, what do we do into election cycle and how does this work? So the best analogy that I give people is, if you look at the 3 major sports, the NFL, at the top, you would have all the games that would lead into the AFL, NFL, or the playoffs. And then the winner obviously would be the Super Bowl. For, I guess you call it the NBA, we call it the Thunder. For the NBA, you've got the season, the Eastern Conference versus the Western Conference, the winners play in the finals. And Major League Baseball, you have the American League and the National League get together and they play in the World Series. So how does that apply to us? Well, the election button is tonight, that all the campaigning and everything goes on. You hit an election day, which is really the primary and runoff. And for the last piece, there are the election results in November. The only difference between this and with the sports analogy is that our cycles only occur every 2 years. And the other 3 obviously occur every year. So if you use the sports analogy, you can kind of look and see this is what a lot of us who are in the political arena take care of and look at this as kind of a way to try to help explain to people what it is. A lot of the people that are watching here tonight will understand this, and this is what we use. What we're going to talk about is a report that I put together called Inside the Numbers, following the baseball piece. Big thanks to Paul Zirak, who's the election board secretary, and Misha Moore, who is the election board director of communications. There's a lot of data that's out there. So many years ago, I came from an IT background before I came into government affairs. There was a whole lot of data, and you really had to kind of wade through it, and people were lost trying to figure things out. So we sit down and put together a little report that comes out every cycle. I'm going to start at the bottom. This is Tom Woods, Senate district. And so what you can see is that the election board is kind enough to pull for us the number of voters in that Senate district. If you go to most of their stuff, you just see it at the county level. And so what we really want to know is at the legislative district, House and Senate, what do those numbers look like? What's the makeup? What's Democrats versus Republicans, independents versus libertarians? And tonight, as we go through that and you look at some of the districts and where they report, you can actually flip over, if you're following along on the election board website, you can put it in map mode and push down and it'll tell you where some of those are. And you can see percentage-wise what percent those counties or those districts that are in those counties make up of the overall district. Of course, if you just have one piece, if you look up in 85, I think Emily made the comment, both John Kane, Preston Stinson, and Tom Woods were all 3 targeted by an outside of the state heavy dark money campaign. So I kind of use these 2. We know Representative Kane's won his by about 70%. So a lot of these numbers in the primary, it's tough, but you can see who the people are. In the general, it really becomes important because then you can look and see. I'll warn you though, not always do these percentages hold, in that there are 6 candidates or 6 members currently in districts, in the 5 in the House and 1 in the Senate, where the party that holds the registration in their district, they're a member of the opposite party, but yet hold the seat.
Yeah.
So we're going to look and see how that works out come time for the general.
Yeah, and this is just a sampling of the
That is
work
correct.
that HJ has put in. He does this on every race in every district, and it's really useful information to look at whenever you're looking at these campaigns and these elections. But H, you've been doing this for a long time. You're a wealth of knowledge. What are some of the trends that you've seen? What are the trends that you're seeing now whenever you look at these numbers?
Well, of course, as was mentioned earlier, that the independents either didn't get their paperwork in time or didn't get received in time. And so you've seen, obviously, in the local medias, a lot of those independents, because we have a closed primary system, moved over and into those. I think there were about 7 or 8 districts that saw at least a pretty high propensity, a high number of voter swing in them. The other piece that really comes to mind is when you sit down and kind of look at, because of redistricting, you can really only go back to 2022 and take a look and see what some of the trends, what a lot of the voter numbers go with, obviously, as you would expect, is where we're seeing a real large growth in population. And so those numbers then take into, you have to look at these and say, well, yeah, obviously a large number, but understand with the growth of Oklahoma, we're getting a lot of out-of-state people. Obviously, the Tulsa and Oklahoma City markets are starting to turn purple. So purple is a mix between, if you know your color wheel, between red and blue. I won't ask any more, I won't ask math questions.
Yeah, please don't. Thank you.
So we'll take care of that. And so what you can start to see is if you kind of map out by the district what the changes are. Some of those districts you are starting to see kind of in the metro areas, the rural areas, the non-outside the 2 metro areas are pretty well holding consistent.
Sweet. So, what races, we've talked about a lot of races, but what races are you watching this evening? What are you most interested in?
So I've got a couple, obviously, I lived in Bartlesville for a long period of time, so the John Kane race was important. The company that I worked for prior to coming to be a contractor, that Senate District 10, Grant Green's district, you know, it was interesting. We talked about a lot of people, if you look in the Senate, there's one decision that'll be made tonight, and that's Senator Hall's race up in Perry. There are 2 others that could be, and that's Senator Yeck and Senator Howard. But if you look, there are 7 districts, and I think all of them are open seats that have 3 or more incumbents. There are 3 or more candidates. So that says that a lot of those are going to get pushed out into the August runoff. And see, in the House Democrat, there are 4 with 3 or more, and in the House GOP, there's actually 5 with 3 or more candidates. So those, unless you can take 50% plus 1 vote, you and whoever the number 2 is, then move on into the August runoff, and we get to do all this again.
Yeah, and it makes it really important what happens tonight
Very much so.
to decide who's in that August runoff, because the August runoff is a completely new ballgame. Voter turnout's lower.
It always is low.
And it's a new ballgame. So,
and why it's low is because of today, we had statewide races. We may or may not, well, it looks like we may have a statewide race for governor, but some of those other races we may not. And some people say, well, you know, that I'll let others decide, and my legislative guys, and they just don't bother to vote. So it's really sad. A lot of people gave up a lot for us to be able to exercise our right to vote. As one of those old songs says, you find the price of freedom buried in the ground. And so a lot of people have given their lives that we could take this and wear this nice little sticker today, that we did that exercise to vote.
yeah, absolutely. Well, H, thanks for being on. Are you going to
You bet.
stick around
You
for a
bet.
while with us?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
War room's fun.
All right, good. Well, we will be checking on results, but H, really appreciate your work on this and appreciate you sharing it with us and giving us a little bit of your thoughts on the data and how you see the election.
Very good. Thanks.
Awesome.
Dalton.
Right.
Yeah.
Dalton H. Shea, appreciate it. Yeah, great information there from a guy that's been doing it a long time and really knows his stuff. We're ready to declare another race. This one, Senate District 36, a familiar name to state chamber members. Senator John Haste has, we're ready to declare him the winner, the incumbent in that race. He, of course, backed by the chamber itself. Very popular candidate up in Northeast Oklahoma, the Jenks area. Had the ability to go and give him a Business All-Star Award a couple years back at the Zico Corporation. Zico, of course, a great member of the state chamber as well. So great to see that the state senator from Jenks has moved ahead in District 36. We're getting more and more numbers as we go along, declaring some other winners. Ali Seifrid, the senator from Claremore, was in what we thought might be a very contested race, but it looks like she's going to be the clear winner in that one. We'll get you up to speed numbers on that one, but there are a lot of close races that we're following, but some not so close. Tom Woods, Northeast Oklahoma as well. He is looking to be the outright winner in his district in the state Senate. So the Senate shaping up kind of the way a lot of people might have hoped, specifically Pro Tem Paxton, Todd Gallagher, a winner as well. So this is all good news when it comes to Senator Paxton and his contingent, and we'll keep you up to speed on some of those other races as we go along. A lot of great information coming in right now, and we see time and time again that these races, especially the statewide races, are going to be interesting. I'm going to run down just what we've got from the state election board right now, with real close to half the vote coming in when it comes to governor. We've still got Gettner Drummond with a 2,000 vote lead over Mike Mazie. Distant third with about 12,000 behind Mazie is Chip Keating, with about half the precincts reporting with Lieutenant Governor T.W. Shannon easily out in front of the field. It looks like we might not have a primary runoff in that one because right now he's got 53% of the vote. So T.W. Shannon looks to be the go-ahead winner there. When it comes to Attorney General, this was a very, very hotly contested race. When it comes to the TV commercials, a lot of mud being slung both directions. But John Eccles right now looks like he's got a sizable but not insurmountable lead when it comes to his lead over Jeff Starling. Right now, 54% for Eccles, 45% with Starling, with 48% chiming in. Cindy Byrd looks to have a commanding lead over Todd Russ with about half the precincts reporting. She's got 61, almost 62% of the vote. Interesting when it comes to superintendent.
Brent, hey, let me jump in too. I think just a reminder that Cindy Byrd was running for a different seat as of a month ago. I mean,
Yeah.
she was running for lieutenant governor. I've seen signs in my neck of the woods that still have lieutenant governor on them. I think they forgot to get the replacement stickers for treasurer. So just interesting that we've got somebody who switched races. I guess it was 2 months ago when candidate filing happened, but sizable
Well,
lead.
and correct me if I'm wrong, Emily, but she worked up such a name recognition when it comes to her work as state auditor that as she switched races, that name recognition going along with her, and that obviously has helped her in this kind of election with Todd Russ for state treasurer, a race that just doesn't get a whole lot of pub, right?
Yeah, no, not a
Not a
closely
sexy
followed,
race.
not a closely followed position, probably.
Yeah. Hey,
Um,
one that has been very closely followed is that state superintendent, and it is shaping up to be a doozy right now. As you look at the numbers, we've got about half the precincts reporting. Robert Franklin with 22%, almost 23% is your leader, but two right behind with 19% are John Cox and then James Taylor. I've seen fire, I've seen rain, but I didn't think I had see results like this when it comes to the superintendent race being this close. Adam Pugh in with 19,000 votes with 11% of the vote. And labor commissioner looks like John Pfeiffer, 61,000 votes, 36% of the vote. But Kevin West right now has the lead with 41%. That's with about 50% of those precincts reporting. Going to get you up to speed with all these races as we go along. We're ready to call the Wilk race. Is that correct? I think we are. Seeing that.
let's go to Adam. I think he's got a Senate district that we want to make sure we're keeping tabs on.
All right. Adam, what you
Yeah,
got?
Thanks, Emily. I want to make sure we're keeping tabs here. Senate District 26. Remember, we talked about that earlier tonight. Senator Darcy Yeck turned out. You've got three folks vying for that seat right now. You have Jessica Weingart, who's from over here in Calumet, Brady Butler, who took Darcy Yeck down to the wire in a runoff last cycle from in here. And then you have Rick Vernon, businessman from Weatherford over here. So you see the kind of geographical dispersion of this race. And that's how it's playing out. I think the surprise of the night, though, right now, when it comes to this race, is that Jessica is in first place in the Blaine Kingfisher Canadian County portion of the district. And she's currently in second place with about 66% of this precincts reporting. And Rick Cook in first place down here in the Custer and Caddo County portions of the district. I don't know that coming into the night, we thought Brady Butler was going to be in third place at this point. Still a lot to go. Precincts left out, but right now you have Firebrand. Brady Butler is in third place here. And you have Jessica Weingart from the eastern part of the district and Rick Cook from the western part of the district. Almost dead even, kind of jockeying back and forth here, and both sitting at about 36% as these precincts continue to roll in. I want to stay in western Oklahoma, though. Let's go to the south real quick, because this is a very interesting race down here in Senate District 38. Again, being vacated by an incumbent Senator Brent Howard, not seeking re-election. There are three individuals on this ballot. Very sadly, one of them passed away earlier this year. However, that he is still on the ballot and eligible to receive votes. So right now, Mr. Christian has 6 or 7% of the vote from up here. But the main contenders are Rick Vernon, an attorney from Altus, and Joe Buchanan, who is former fire chief from Altus. Both of them are running very strong campaigns. Right now, though, Rick Vernon is teetering on 50% with about 75% reporting. So I think there was going to be a question about two guys from Altus. How can they get their name ID up and then get to the Elk City, the Beckham County, the Washita County, the I-40 portion of this district? How are you going to get your name ID up there, and who was going to win there? It was maybe presumed we were going to split some votes down here. But I think we are on the precipice. I mean, barely Rick Vernon could squeak this out without getting in a runoff. And the odd situation that's played out to play spoiler here for Rick Vernon is something to keep an eye on as we go to the night. Keith, do you have?
Adam, on that note, on that seat, all of Harmon County is in, all of Tillman County is in, and all of Washita County is in. So we have 3 precincts out in Beckham, and we have 6 out in Jackson. In Beckham, Rick Vernon is getting right now, with the precincts reported, over 50%, and in Jackson County, where he's from, but so is Mr. Buchanan, he's also getting over 50%. So we're going to have to survive 9 more precincts down in Southwest Oklahoma. But like I said, 4 of those counties are all in: Tillman, Harmon, Washita. So we'll just have to, and Greer. So
Yeah, I mean, look, we're closing down to the wire here on one of these open seats. If you've seen our voter guide, the state chamber, Rick Vernon is the chamber endorsed candidate in this race. And so obviously we're pulling for him, but we know this is the close one down here that we're watching. That's almost got them all in. And as we know, rural Oklahoma reports pretty fast. So we'll probably have some results that go final before too long in this one.
Looks
and
good, guys.
on the Rick Cook seat, on the Darcy Yeck seat, real fast, the one Jessica's running in. None of the Canadian County is done. Canadian County has 6 of the 6 in, so we won't get any more precincts out of that. Jessica won that county.
Yeah.
Waiting for 5 more precincts in Kingfisher, 2 more in Blaine, 3 more in Custer, where Rick's from, and 3 more in Caddo.
So we're getting close there as well. Keith, where are those precincts in Caddo County? Are they down here where some of the people live that are long ways from candidates?
Pulling up the ones that are not in is the one west of Hinton. So that's going to be a smaller precinct. The Hinton precinct is in. And then 2 down in the middle part of Caddo County. So one of those is probably the Anadarko. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but just based on how many absentee votes came in that. And then the one east of that is a small precinct. So we basically have 2 precincts and one larger precinct for Caddo County out. I don't see any way. I don't think there's enough votes out there for Brady Butler to make it.
That's big news tonight. If Brady Butler misses the runoff, potentially in Senate District 26, they're setting up a showdown on either side of the district there between Rick Cook from Weatherford and Jessica Weingart from Calumet. It's going to be a very interesting race. It's going to be a long, hot summer out there knocking doors in Western Oklahoma.
The closest one right now is Senate District 28. So we just need to watch that one. That one 80% in. Lincoln County. Yeah, pretty much Pottawatomie County has 4 of 8. We're waiting on 4 precincts on that. Robert Trimble currently leading in Pottawatomie County with 58%. We're waiting for 1 precinct in Seminole. We're waiting for 1 precinct in Lincoln. We're waiting for 2 precincts in Oklahoma County, and we're waiting for 1 in Logan. And you can see how tight it is.
It's a very close race in Senate District 28. I mean, what we're looking at, 52-48 right now with looks like 81% of the precincts reporting. If you'll remember though, Keith, that Robert Trimble won 1 precinct 4 years ago when he ran in this June primary. It was obviously a crowded primary, but he came back for more here in this race. They've criticized Senate Energy Chair Grant Green, has taken a lot of fire on a lot of issues that were similar in this area last cycle 2 years ago with House Appropriations Chair Kevin Wallace, I think, talking about renewable energy, talking about economic development, some things that the legislature deals with regularly that maybe have been blown out of proportion or spun in a way that is, it told a pretty negative story about the work Senator Green has done, but he's holding his own right now. So I think it's interesting as this area has really been the epicenter of this sort of the movement within the Republican Party. Some of the more conservative candidates who've popped up as challengers, I'd say their ideological roots are tied to some activity and some unrest that's gone on over here.
Hey, guys, I want to break in real quick and declare some winners as we are getting a lot of races that are really shaping up to look like they can be called at this point. Let's go to some of those slides, Scotty. Let's start with 22. When it comes to these important seats, we are calling a winner in House District 20. That is Jonathan Wilk. Jonathan Wilk, the winner in House District 20, but we have a lot of important winners when it comes to the Senate seats as well. Ali Seifert from the Claremore area, a winner in District 2. That a lot of people thought that might have been a lot closer than it ended up being, but Ali, breakaway winner there. More Senate winners, Todd Gallagher in Senate District 12, the winner there, of course, a Senate, or rather a state chamber endorsed candidate. And other winners when it comes to state Senate seats, Tom Woods, a winner there in Eastern Oklahoma as well. You've also got House District 37. Spencer Grace is going to walk away with that, gets through the primary without a runoff. And then Mike Kelly, House District 60, the winner there. So we're seeing a lot of races being declared. Also, David Hardin, when it comes to House District 86, we've got a lot of races that are now being officially declared by us here at the State Chamber and OK Decides. Once again, just want to get people up to speed. You're watching Election Night Live here from the State Chamber studios and office as we broadcast on YouTube, Facebook Live, and then through OK Decides. OK Decides has been our website from the beginning of the political process in this last cycle to really get our members, but also the public up to speed when it comes to what candidates are running, what to expect. And we've had a lot of interviews with our statewide candidates when it comes to a lot of these movers and shakers, a lot of these men and women that are running for these offices. Let's get it on over to Emily right now, because Emily, we ran off a lot of winners really when it comes to the state Senate. Tell us more about what that means when it comes down to the balance in the state Senate. A lot of people had questions coming into the night, how that would break down.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's several that we think are going in the right way, and just the ones that you announced, you know, those were I'm not going to say expected. You don't take anything for granted, but we were hopeful on those. There's a few that are still, we're just kind of waiting to hear what the confirmed result is. But I think, yeah, that balance of power in the Republican caucus has been quite a dynamic and a dicey one at that. And so I think at the State Chamber, we've been keeping an eye on that. I'm not ready to map out my numbers just yet because I don't have my notes on it. Still trying to scroll through all this, but I see that Adam's got a good friend from the Tulsa area on to maybe talk about CD1. So maybe kick it over to Adam for that.
Yeah, thanks, Emily. And I've got John Tidwell on. He's the state director with Americans for Prosperity up in Tulsa, but he is a longtime Tulsa Politico, lots of experience in this area with the 1st Congressional District. So, John, what are you seeing? What should we be looking out for as this race as we start to get into the later hours and are really honing in on some specific precincts?
Yeah, certainly, Adam. Thanks. This is really great. Adam and Emily, you guys, Brent, you all are just doing a fantastic job. This is really great to watch. News, weather, and traffic with Keith Beal. I never thought that I'd get to see that, but golly, it's really great. Dalton there,
Oh, man.
playing traffic cop. HJ is going to do the weather here in a bit, so we're hoping for a cool break coming up for Father's Day. No, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to do this. Obviously, the 1st district race has been an extremely contentious race. That is a race that, especially in the last 48 to 72 hours, has made a tremendous amount of news nationally. And so it's going to be really interesting to see how those numbers shake out from the standpoint of the absentee in person, the absentee mail vote, as well as what happens there on election day. I think that Also you've seen this national story about Jackson Laymeyer. That certainly is going to have an impact with some folks, and I think we'll start to see what that looks like. But I think up here in the Tulsa area, you've had some really great candidates that have run really competitive. It's been a really competitive race. I was talking to a friend of mine in Oklahoma City, Michael Morrison, earlier today, and I said, it's one of those situations where as politicos, we love it because you turn on the news, and during the news, it is nothing but political ads. From the minute they go to a commercial break, every single ad is a political ad. And that's, we've seen that before, but it is absolutely true here because in the first district race, you have independent expenditures that have engaged for Laymeyer, against Laymeyer, for Tedford, against Tedford. It just that large variety that you see from time to time. So it's really interesting to see how all of this is shaking out. But from a ground game perspective, and that's one of the things we always want to look at. One of the things that's always the most important. I think that you've seen a tremendous ground game from the Tedford campaign, and I think you've seen that a good deal of that from Jed Cochran up here in Tulsa as well. So the numbers are coming in slowly. I'm noticing, looking at these numbers, Tulsa County seems to be coming in slower than it normally does. I'm not sure why that is, but we're watching it very closely.
I think that's interesting, John. I didn't know it was possible for Tulsa County to come in any slower, but maybe they're making their list and they're checking it twice there.
That's right. That's exactly right.
As they turn these numbers.
What's interesting about it, and this is the backstory of that, Tulsa County actually just moved their election board to another location that is out in East Tulsa on Skelly Drive. And so typically those, as we all know, those election results are tabulated at the polling place and then at the individual precinct, and then the machines and the tapes are loaded into their cars and they are driven back to the election board, and then they are entered into the computer and tabulated. This is a further location for them to drive to, which is, I think, one of the reasons that it's actually taking longer. That's my guess. It's taking them longer to tabulate the results. So just a little backstory as to why we're seeing that.
That's the on the ground insight we're looking for here as to how many more miles we got to drive those ballots back to the.
Right. Always makes a difference.
Now, is it an electric car or a gas car?
Hybrid.
Well, I've seen the video. I've seen it in person myself, where you've got those cars that used to be lined up down Denver Avenue, coming into out of downtown, going to the election board, and I'm sure it's the same situation now with those cars lined up to get in with their machines.
John, we would love for you to stay on, and Adam, I hate to interrupt, but the speaker is in our waiting room and I don't want to leave him.
for it.
I think he has some fun news to share. So,
Love it.
Scott, do you mind bringing him on? Guys, we have, there he is, live from his election night watch party and his victory.
Hey.
Hi, Mr. Speaker.
How's it going?
Good. Tell us how it's going there.
Hey, it's great here in Creek County.
Ready to declare winners all over?
Yeah. So we just got done talking. Sorry, I know I was supposed to be on at 8:15. We're
You're
pushing back
okay.
a little bit. I have not even kept up what's going on around the state, but saw the early results. It was looking really good for the House.
Yeah, I've gotten a couple texts that Stenson's seat's looking really good, which is awesome. And was hoping you could just kind of give us insights like what happened in Creek County. I mean, obviously we were expecting you to do good, but we wanted to, cross our fingers and toes and get our speaker back.
Sure. Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I think the best news in Creek County is a dominant victory for Todd Golovar, Senate District 1 as well. There were just some absolutely ridiculous attacks that came against him very late. I mean, even as recently as yesterday and today, getting text messages from just terrible lies about him. And it's hard to combat at the last minute. How do you come back after someone who's blatantly lies?
Yeah.
And so just really excited for my friend Todd Golovar, his victory. But worked hard here in my race as well. Never want to take anything for granted, and especially this is my first time having an election as Speaker of the House, and the high profile nature that entails. But my last re-election due to term limits, so kind of my first of many lasts to come. My last term, the next 2 years for us.
Bittersweet for sure. Well, glad to declare yours a victory. I think we have a beautiful graphic declaring you a winner take all that'll emerge onto the screen. I'm seeing some other house members though, friends there at your watch party. Where are you guys at?
Yeah, so we are the Bells here in Bristow. They have a venue here that used for many weddings. Actually, Kel Kelly, my chief of staff, his grandpa, we built this barn
Oh,
a
wow.
long time ago, and then sold it to the Kelly family, sold it to the Bells. They
That's
made a
great.
really, really nice venue. So I probably had 5 or 6 events here, but yeah, Representative Hager, I don't know if you can see Bandy.
Yeah, I can see him there in the distance.
Yeah, talking to Chris Banning's wife. And it's great to have Chris here. He's on the ballot tonight as well. He had a
Yeah.
higher percentage than I did. So proud of him being in the 80s last time. So
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we appreciate you being on. We know there's a lot of races you guys are keeping an eye on. We're watching them as well. Results are coming in and they're looking pretty good. We're keeping track of State Question 832, hoping we don't have to deal with that on the other side of the election. And so just appreciate you joining us. Congratulations on your win and appreciate your leadership in the House.
yeah, thanks for having me on. And we'll be watching closely, see who emerges in some of these competitive statewide.
Wave hi to all 100 of our friends that are watching the YouTube. Thanks, Mr.
Yes.
Speaker. Have a good
Thanks.
night. Bye,
You too.
Carolyn.
Thank
Bye,
you.
Carolyn.
Bye, Jen.
Yeah. I haven't seen a smile that big on speaker's face in quite some time, Emily. That was good to see. Very good to see.
Yeah,
Definitely.
excited for him.
Hey,
Think you got some results.
yeah, Adam was talking with Tidwell there about CD1 and just they didn't give the numbers. And I want to give the most recent numbers. We've got just over a third of the vote in, 34% of precincts reporting. Mark Tedford has the lead by about 500 votes. He's got at 29% right now and close to 28% for Jackson Lahmeyer. So that is neck and neck, but Tedford is in the lead. That is something that you probably didn't think coming in a week ago when Lahmeyer had the Trump endorsement. So right now it looks like Tedford has the lead with about, like I said, a little over a third of the precincts reporting. And we were talking with Adam Maxey, months ago, we were talking about CD1's effect on State Question 832, and the numbers on 832 look very promising right now, Adam. It looks like 71% of the precincts are reporting, and the no's have a commanding lead, 57%, almost 58% of the vote, opposed to 42%. And some media outlets are trying to get hold of me, trying to get our take on that. So it looks like they are probably thinking what a lot of people may be thinking around the state, that it looks like the no's are in pretty good shape when it comes to State Question 832.
Yeah, I need to dig in. I need to get some precinct numbers on some of these places. But remember what I said earlier about those places where they were going to have to win. And I named 6 or 7 counties, and right now they're only ahead in Oklahoma, Cleveland, and Tulsa as far for the yes side, though. So those places like Cherokee, Payne, Pontotoc, Comanche, some of those other places, they're not ahead right now. The yes side has not pulled ahead in those places, maybe lacking the margin they need to get it done, but we're still waiting to see. Remember, Tidwell told us Tulsa County very slow. This is going to be a big yes number up here. And there's still precincts in Oklahoma and Cleveland County as well, where they're going to be big yes numbers come in. And those densely populated areas can close the gap very fast. But like I said at the beginning of the night, the counties to keep an eye on, they have not opened up a lead in Comanche, Payne, Cherokee, Pontotoc, any of these other places. So again, things are playing out, but we got a lot to watch left.
Definitely have a lot to watch left. Let's continue to update some of those races, especially those statewide races that have had a lot of eyeballs on it. The lieutenant governor race, not as much media being swirled around in that one, although some of the candidates still spending a lot of money on their races. And it looks like T.W. Shannon, former Speaker of the House, has a commanding lead. Looks like he could get out of this primary without going to a primary runoff, because 53% of the vote right now with 72% of precincts reporting. 72% of precincts reporting. TW Shannon has 53% of the vote. The second place candidate right now, that's Daryl Weaver with only 36,000 votes, which would be 13%. So it looks like TW Shannon very close to being declared a winner in that race. We continue to follow a lot of these
Hey,
races.
Brad,
Yeah.
Brad, can I chime in? Our friend John Tidwell's still on. I've got one more question I'd like to ask him, and he's got a wife and a family who are missing him tonight. He's taking time away from them to do this for us. So I know Courtney in Denver and India want Daddy to come back
Sorry.
downstairs. So real quick though, okay, we're going to a runoff here. What's the key to victory in the runoff now with what I would say was a big shakeup, a large scandal that broke for the front runner?
Sure.
Almost too late to have much of an effect tonight. What's August look like? What are the keys to victory for both of them in August?
I mean, honestly, that ripple is going to continue. It's something that the Lehmeyer campaign is going to have to contend with. They're going to have to answer to. They're going to have to deal with that. And the Tedford campaign, too, it's obviously those are messages that they're going to drive. It's one of those things where after the primaries are over with, as you move into the runoffs, the field sort of resets itself. It gives folks an opportunity. The reality is that folks are not going to engage from a runoff standpoint until till mid-August, when they really start to pay attention. So that's going to be interesting to see exactly, from a fundraising standpoint. I think that the Tedford campaign has done a really good job from a fundraising perspective. He has put some money of his own in, and they've also raised a tremendous amount of money. So that will be a really good opportunity there. I think that the media cycle is going to dictate what happens with Lehmeyer and exactly how that's going to be answered. But it's absolutely going to have to be something to contend with, whether that is something that they deal with from on the debate stage or on the airwaves. It's going to be a story, one way or the other.
John, I really appreciate you taking the time to join us.
Absolutely. I'm thrilled to do it. One other thing I did want to mention, I have noticed as I've been looking at this, and Adam, you'll be very pleased to know this, looking at the state question 832, the no side, your side actually won in the early voting. The absentee mail was 11,000 on the yes side to 8,800 on the no. But on early voting, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, early voting in person, the no side, it was 20,000 votes to 27,500. So to me, that last minute messaging push from you guys and from OCPA really has made a difference.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Hey,
I don't
John,
think we can understate what winning the early vote means in this, particularly when the ideological dynamics are the way they are. That's not how it typically shakes out.
Exactly.
John, I wanted to chime in real quick because I was up in Tulsa last week actually doing some 832 work with Arnold's Hamburgers. Great business owner up there, knows how detrimental that state question could be to small business. But I was watching the Fox broadcast for that news story, I think the 5 o'clock, and every single, like you were saying, every single commercial break
is tremendous.
Ads. It would be Gettner, then Eccles, then Gettner again, then Starling. And, you'd have multiple spots by the same candidate. Coming from my TV background, TV stations are licking their chops these days because a huge part of their revenue, but just so much money being spent this year when it comes to political TV ads.
Yeah, the CD1 race will be a really interesting race to follow in the runoff. I mean, I think that Lehmeyer has just as good a chance as Tedford does in that runoff. So it's one that we're going to have to all watch very intently.
Very, very good. All right.
Thank you guys very much.
John, we appreciate you chiming in. Let's get back into that war room because I know both Keith and Dalton are standing by, and now they've got their light on, which makes them look a lot better. So what you got for us, guys?
Yeah, we've been watching the election board website here. It looks like in Senate District 38, that's the one in Southwest Oklahoma.
Rick Vernon's gone final.
It's 70 of 70 precincts reporting, and Rick Vernon has come out the winner. No runoff there. So Rick Vernon,
50.557%.
Yeah. So Rick Vernon will win in Senate District 38.
Sounds good, guys. We appreciate the update. I can continue to get media requests for something on State Question 832. So looks like a lot of the media outlets are thinking the same way that we are seeing these results come in, very favorable for the no side when it comes to 832. We continue to follow races. We continue to declare winners in a lot of these. Let me know what we can declare right now, guys, and we will call those races as they come in.
We've given Adam all the stuff he needs on 832.
Okay.
It looks like I'm just rolling through some house seats over here. It looks like Tom Gann in House District 8 has a small lead above Todd Rice, but I think Tom Gann's probably going to come out of that one. Looks like Crystal Campbell and Scotty Stokes are going to go to a runoff for House District 9, which is LePac's open seat. House District 10, Judd Strom running against Jake Bear and Hewen Funderburg. Looks like Judd is going to get that one. We already called House District 11. House District 14, we can call for Chris Sneed. House District 18, we can call for, is it going to a runoff? We cannot call it for anyone. It is a runoff between David Smith and Pamela Gordon. What else? Got some winner take all. There you go. Rick West in House District 3, winner take all. Do you guys just want to roll through a few of those?
Yeah, Keith's looking at some numbers on the CorpCom race.
I was just gonna do some statewide that we're not paying attention to. Just real fast update. Superintendent race, super tight. Robert Franklin's at 22.5%. James Taylor is at 19.95. And John Cox is at 18.76. So that's real tight on those top three spots. Labor is going to be going to a runoff between Kevin West and John Pfeiffer. Kevin West is at 41.97, and Representative Pfeiffer is at 35.67. So those two will go to the runoff, and then the insurance commissioner. These two will go to a runoff. Bob Sullivan is at 37.38, and Marty Quinn is at 27.85. And
Are we ready to call treasurer yet?
I thought you guys did, but yes, treasurers, yes, Cindy Bird's
Cindy
at
Bird.
1.5, yes.
Okay.
And then, sorry, I thought someone did that. And then Bowles is up 55.5%, with basically 20% of the vote out. So that's basically Oklahoma County and Tulsa County, the vote out. Tulsa County right now only has 100 of 251 precincts reported, and Oklahoma County has 132 of 290. So that's 160 and 151, so 310 precincts. And if you go up to the top there, 1880. So almost all the precincts that are outstanding in the state are either in Oklahoma or Tulsa County. So almost all the rural vote is in. So
on the Senate side, two races worth mentioning, and we knew that these were going to be competitive races to start with. Our Senator Coleman's race up in Ponca City. Ponca City looks like a dogfight right now. And then Senator Green's district, it looks like Pottawatomie County and Seminole County, waiting for some numbers to come in there, but that one looks really competitive too. So those are two Senate districts worth watching.
The other that we've been closely watching too is Senate District 20, and I'm getting texts, can't confirm this myself yet, but Chuck Hall won.
we haven't been officially told that in the war room, so we're kind of waiting. But we're getting responses on that. So for Chuck,
Senate District 17, which is Shane Jett's open seat. Justin Wood might win this without a runoff. Right now, he's got 51 plus.
yeah, I mean, let me dig down on that one and see
Yeah.
where the votes are
See
at.
what's outstanding, yeah, because there could be more.
Yeah, I just checked in there. It's some outstanding precincts in North in the far eastern part of the district there in Pot County, where Wood has almost run the table in Pottawatomie County. There's a precinct down south where Randy Cornelius is from that he's won, and Steve King has won like the Oklahoma County portion of the district where he's from. But yes, Justin Wood, high name ID, former House representative and father of the elected sheriff there in Pottawatomie County. Potential, still some outstanding. I don't know how many votes are over those precincts. The War Room can update us on that, but
All 5 of those precincts that are outstanding are in Oklahoma County.
all right. So Pottawatomie County now all the way in. Yeah, looking like that. That'd be quite the feat. That was a crowded primary there. And so we've got a lot going on in the state Senate tonight. Very, very interesting.
Hey, Adam, let's talk state senate a little bit, specifically Emily, Chuck Hall. Right now, those numbers, they look good if you're a fan of the House or of the Senate Appropriations Chief, 56% of the vote. That was thought to be a very, very close race, and this one looks like it's almost.
Yeah, I think Keith was gonna dig into those numbers because I was just mentioning how I keep getting messages that he's ahead, but Keith was gonna dig into those numbers for us.
But
I'm
that would be a big win for Hall because that was
Yeah.
something that was thought to be very close.
Yeah, I think looking at this, I think Chuck's fine. There aren't enough votes out there, so Chuck's going to win. So Senator Hall's going to win that. There's only one precinct out in Payne County and one precinct out in Kingfisher. Senator Hall did not win Logan County, but all of those precincts have been reported. So
Yeah, that's interesting, Keith. I was talking to some folks on the ground there earlier today, talking about how busy the voting activity, the precincts and the lines to cast their ballot were down there in southern Logan County. Guthrie, obviously the main population center here, Challenger from over here, incumbent from over here, and the people are here. So it was an interesting dynamic that's set up. But, you know, as has been said, I think, you know, Chairman Hall seems to have this well in hand, which is a pretty resounding victory for him, given that sort of the chief complaint of all these challengers maybe stem from some spending at the state level, some items in state budgets, and obviously being the appropriations chairman, his name was on all those. He didn't just vote for him, he wrote them. And to so survive that's a pretty resounding statement there for the victors and those who are interested in that.
Sounds great, Adam. Thanks for that update. We are coming up on 8:50 Central Time. Of course, the polls closed at 7, so we are coming up on 2 hours that the polls have been closed here in Oklahoma. And I want to talk and run down some of those statewide races as we get close to that 9 o'clock hour, because we are starting to get a little bit more clarity. I know a lot of those Senate districts, state Senate districts, and House districts are very important, and we're going to try to get a little bit more clarity when it comes to that. But I want to go back and make sure that we are getting people up to speed on those statewide election results. And Keith, I know you're standing by, so chime in as you see fit. But let's start running down and start from the top of the truly statewide races for governor. You've still got a 2-man race, it looks like, and still very, very close where you're, I'm going to refresh one more time just to make sure I've got the latest. Yep. With 83% of the precincts reporting, Gettner Drummond with 25.59% of the vote, almost 26% of the vote, 83,000 votes. Mike Mazie, 81,000 votes, 25% of the vote. And it looks like those two guys are going to go to a runoff in August, and that's kind of what we thought, right?
yes, that's looking that way. And if you're looking at the results right now, with Tulsa County having so many votes outstanding, as we see here right now, Tulsa County is sitting at Mike Mazie at 35.64%. This is just in Tulsa County. And Attorney General Drummond is at 33.3%. And then the next closest person in Tulsa County is confirmed Chip Keating at 14.1. So if those votes hold like that, the Drummond Mazie numbers statewide are just going to keep rising.
Yeah, I think so. And I know third doesn't really count, but yes, Chip has a pretty sizable lead over the 4th place candidate right now, which would be Jake Merrick. So let's go to the lieutenant governor race, and we are pretty close to being able to call this for T.W. Shannon. 53% of the vote, with 83% of the precincts reporting a sizable lead. It's just a question whether he will go to the runoff or not, but it looks like he will be able to win that outright, and that would be a big victory for the lieutenant governor race on the Republican side, given the fact that they had 6 different candidates running for that position. So big turnout win for TW. As for attorney general, a very ugly race, if you will, lots of mudslinging, like I said last time, and looks like John Echols with 55% of the vote over Jeff Starling with 44, almost 45% of the vote. That's with 83% of the precincts reporting. And what do you know about this race, Keith, other than it has been ugly with a ton of money being spent by both candidates?
Just looking at the map here, it looks like that John Echols is going to win 68 or 69 of the 77 counties.
Wow.
So he's won he's winning Oklahoma City, he's winning Tulsa, he's winning all the suburbs, and Jeff Starling is just winning some of the smaller. He's won 3 counties on the Red River, and he's won 2 of the 3 Panhandle counties. So
both candidates are friends of the state chamber. I know John Echols declared very early for that race, so he's been campaigning a long time, and it looks like his efforts have been paying off. 55% of the vote, with 83% of the precincts reporting. State superintendent, another very interesting race. Longtime education official Robert Franklin, 68,000 votes, with 83% of the precincts reporting. Franklin has 22.45% of the vote. That is in the lead right now, but very close when it comes to everyone else. James Taylor looks like to be in second place right now. So if the vote comes down the way it is right now, you would have Franklin and James Taylor going to a runoff. Third place candidate still has a shot. John Cox, 18.68% of the vote, so about a point behind James Taylor, and then Adam Pugh, state senator out of Edmond, with 11% of the vote. It looks like Franklin and Taylor, your likely runoff candidates there. Labor Commissioner Kevin West looks like a fairly commanding lead. 83% of the precincts are reporting he has almost 42% of the vote, to 35% from John Pfeiffer. Is this, Keith, if you're still there with us, was this a rural versus urban vote here? Just more people voting on the urban side when it comes to Kevin West?
Kevin Pfeiffer basically won Northwest Oklahoma and a few things. Right now, Rick is ahead in Oklahoma City, or Kevin West, I'm sorry, is ahead in Oklahoma City and Tulsa County. Check Oklahoma County. Yeah, and then like Canadian, Cleveland, they all went for Kevin West. Basically, Enid, Weatherford, Panhandle, Ponca. No, Ponca went to Representative Pfeiffer, but pretty much 2/3 of the state right now is with Kevin.
Gotcha. Longtime state representative Kevin West. He was in to do interviews with us when we were doing our candidate interviews, and a lot of experience for that seat. Let's talk about the insurance commissioner, because it has been a hotly contested seat as well. And of course, with insurance rates in Oklahoma, some of the highest in the country when it comes to home insurance rates, and a lot of news being made by lots of legal wranglings lately when it comes to some of the big insurance corporations. This is definitely going to be an interesting race to watch. Bob Sullivan has your lead right now, with 83% of the precincts reporting. 37% of the vote with Bob Sullivan, and you've got almost 28% with Marty Quinn out of Bartlesville. So it looks like those two probably going to a runoff. Chris Meredith and Greta Schuler trailing in the 17% range. So it looks like insurance commissioner going to a runoff with Quinn and Sullivan. Still too early to officially call that, though. Brad Bowles.
A very interesting map. So Bob Sullivan is going to win 75 of the 77 counties, but
Oh, wow.
only finish at 30. He'll probably get a little higher because Tulsa County's rolling in, and right now he's getting basically what the statewide vote is, 37.2, 26.8 in Tulsa County. Greta's running about 23, so her total will come up, but just that when you look at the map, whoa, but then when you look at the totals, so Bob's gonna win 75 of the 77 counties.
Hey, guys, I have a couple house races to call. They've been up on the site that just wanted to mention. House District 6, Rusty Cornwell, excuse me, incumbent. Moving through my list, we called Sneed in House District 14, Banning in House District 24, Dual in House District 31. That was one we were definitely watching closely. Had an itch on my leg. Sorry about that. House District 32, Jim Shaw. Yeah, Adam, you've got Dual up.
Yeah, I just want to chime in real quickly here at Chamber endorsed State Representative Colin Dual, chairman of the Civil Judiciary Policy Committee there in the House. So that's a big victory for him. This was a repeat opponent. He had faced Carmen Greider before. He had come out victorious then. It was a very close race back then. This with the overlap in the Senate District 20 race that we had seen. So paying very close attention to what turnout was going to be like up there. And so we're happy to announce Chairman Colin Dual has been reelected, or has won his Republican primary. You'd have to go back to my notes and see if he's got a general, but he's victorious tonight.
I think he's winner take all. Yeah. Moving on to HD 40. It looks like Kinsley Jordan, Kinsley Jordan is the winner there, and that's a winner take all. State Chamber did endorse Tori Turnbow, who had a business background, and so that is a surprise for us there. Kinsley Jordan. House District 42, Cindy Rowe. Within House leadership, she is back for her next term. She was able to beat her opponent, who was expected to give a challenge, but I don't think completely kick her out of the running. She beat her opponent by about 300 votes. Looking at House District 51, Dalton, I know you've been keeping eyes on that one, and I'm just looking at the numbers on the site. Do you have any other details on Cole Stevens versus Cody Elliott filling Brad Bowles' seat?
Yeah, it looks like there's one precinct that hasn't reported yet, but it doesn't look like there's enough votes down there for Cody to make up the difference there. So it looks like Cole Stevens, he's sitting at 55% right now. It looks like he's going to take that House District 51.
That's good for us. That was our endorsement. So hopefully that pans out. I don't know if we've called it. I know our team, our chat behind the scenes is kind of calling some things. So Jason Blair in House District 53, he is one there. Looks like maybe in House District 54, filling Kevin West's seat, Heath Kufla might be taking that whole thing and not going to a runoff. I'm sorry. Oh, had a little mute mix up. House District 60, incumbent Mike Kelly, former firefighter and fire chief. He is handedly beat his opponent, Cade Renfro, by 2,000 plus votes. House District 65, this is replacing Tony Hassenbeck, who is obviously seeking state superintendent. Looks like Sam Mitchell has a sizable lead here against Carla Blue Weaver, but not all those precincts are reporting, but looking like Sam has got it.
Looks like Sam's the likely winner there. There's only 2 precincts outstanding. Yeah, doesn't look like there's enough votes there for Carla to come back. So it looks like Sam's going to take that one too.
Dalton, what all our viewers want to know, how's your phone battery doing at this point?
It's doing great so far. Got a charger plugged in over there.
Got a charger, good.
I mean, I came prepared.
Good.
That's the team Boy Scout, Dalton Miller. He's
Oh my
prepared.
God.
Oh, the guy at the big board.
Yeah.
Hey, but that's
a big board to play with. I got to work on my phone here.
you got a lot more going on in a war room. I've got a very limited set of things to
Dalton,
keep track
you are
of.
managing Keith Beal right now. Adam has a
All
piece
of
of
its own.
technology that can just go with that. You got to keep Keith in line.
No,
Yeah.
we're fine.
What you guys don't know is it's AI. We've programmed everything that I'm drawing on here already. I'm not even in charge of that. But I want to go to some state senate races real quick. Update. Looks like we've got all the precincts now, and Rick Vernon is going to squeak out a full victory in Senate District 38. We checked in on that one in Southwest Oklahoma earlier with about 50.5% of the vote. So Rick Vernon, attorney from Altus, who was endorsed by incumbent Senator Brett Howard, outgoing Senator Brett Howard will win outright in that race. Let's go down outside of Lawton though, where incumbent Senator Dusty Devers is currently in third in a 3-horse race there with challengers Dr. Gene Househair and Curtis Irwin. So right now we look at Dr. Gene Househair probably in the lead with about 35% and Curtis Irwin with about 32% of the vote. Devers is right there at 31% though. I think what we're hearing, rural Comanche County out here, this area, it's coming in pretty slow. So I think that's Devers territory if I had to call it. So this race is not over yet, but looking like incumbent Senator, outspoken member of the Freedom Caucus, Senator Dusty Devers could be headed to a runoff there outside a lot. And so something to watch in August, but obviously he won a special election to hold that seat, this running for the full term now. And this will be a runoff election, something that was not in place, a hurdle that didn't have to be crossed during the special. So let's move on now to suburban Oklahoma City, though. This race, a hotly contested primary. A lot of folks, their hat in the ring here. Incumbent Senator Darrell Weaver off to run for lieutenant governor, announced that pretty early and gave a lot of lead time to folks. In first place in this right there is optometrist John Painter. He's operated his business district for 30 years. So you've got a lot of name ID built in when he's been looking at people's eyes for a long time. He's had signs up long before he was campaigning because it was his business, member of the community. I think the storyline here though is former candidate to the South in a Norman seat, lost in a very close runoff last cycle. Robert Keys has moved just across the line over here. And I accidentally changed the slide there, but he has found himself into second place here. What looks like is going to be on the runoff for that. Noteworthy there, though.
Okay, that Adam, that seat is final. So
That's final. So we've
yep.
got a runoff.
Painter and Keys, that seat is final.
Yeah, I think the interesting part for Keys there, though, that's it's about $300,000 of his own money that he's loaned his campaign. So, pretty huge investment, putting his own skin in to achieve this, wants to be a member of the state Senate. Pretty bad to put himself through this for a couple cycles, and he'll go back to another runoff where it's, likely that he's going to put in some more of his own money, and we'll see how that goes. I got one more seat I want to cover.
34, we got a 3-way race.
Yeah.
Spots.
Senate District 34, you've got a pretty tight 3-way race here. Incumbent Dana Prieto, retired businessman Kent Taylor, Aaron Forst, probably another conservative candidate in the race with a similar profile to Senator Prieto, and then businessman Brent Driscoll. It looks like a 3-horse race between Forst, Taylor, and Prieto. So we're going to see how that one plays out. But let's jump to the state question. Well, actually, let's do 18 first, or we think we'll probably have incumbent Senator Jack Stewart here in a runoff with upstart Tyler Herring. Stewart was a county commissioner in this area. This was sort of his area previously. He continues to perform well with folks who've elected him a lot, but you see a lot of growth in these areas, a lot of new houses all through here. That are a lot of people that don't know who Jack Stewart is. You'll see him that's probably going to run off in August with Tyler Herring. Can we jump to the minimum wage though? I want Chad to come here with me and talk about the minimum wage for a second, because this is turning out to, yes. Yeah, turning out to be
what we're
quite
gonna do is give you a big old hug.
Hey now.
Good work.
That's not thank you.
Good work. So
Thank you.
you all who know that Adam has led this entire effort internally. and working with OCPA. Adam ran around the state. Adam raised money. Adam was a warrior for this. And I want everyone to know, I want them to understand the magnitude of what you and the team pulled off. 2 states in 30 years have defeated a minimum wage. Oklahoma and the great state of California.
That's right.
And so what a big night. I want to thank you so much for the work you did there. You all to even be close. Adam was all over this the whole time. To even be in the fight a couple of days out, we were 6 points? We thought we were within about 6 points.
Yeah.
And to win, it's going to end up probably being somewhere around 10. That's huge. So that's the news. The breaking
Well,
news is
Breaking news.
congratulations.
Thank you, Chad.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
What an effort. Your state chamber team led the way with our good friends from OCPA who led the way. And it was a really good effort. So thank you for doing all that.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Chad. And that is a big statement from voters. Voters say no on state question 832. There's probably not a larger mandate you could force onto a business than by telling it what it has to agree to pay its employees. We know the market has said wages are way higher than $7.25.
Yeah.
That's working. Wages are rising in Oklahoma. Opportunity is growing, and we didn't want to slow that down here at the state chamber. So, we put our shoulder to the wheel and, gathered some partners and went to work. And we're happy to say that state question 832 has gone down. So big victory for the chamber and the business community tonight. And we're proud to say that. Thank
So
you.
as it ties back, like everything we do, we tie it back to our Oklahoma Competes initiative, right? And why is that so important? Oklahoma competes on affordability, right? That's one of the hallmark things that we have going for us. That's table stakes, right? We're trying to go in on education and workforce and innovation, but we already win on affordability. And what voters said tonight is we like it right the way it is. And what Adam will tell you was when we did all the message testing, the affordability portion, the affordability impact, when people realized what 832 would do to affordability in Oklahoma, they rejected it. And again, you and the team nailed that issue down and just rode it to the ground. So it's a win for Oklahoma. It's a win for Oklahoma workers. It's a win for the people who are being told that this would help them. This would have hurt them more than they would have ever imagined. And so affordability won, common sense won, the good guys won tonight, and you're the team leader of the good guys. So good work.
Well, thank you, Chad. I appreciate that. That's it's a big victory tonight. So
Definitely is. Getting a lot of
anyway, Brett,
media chiming in, asking for our take on that. And of course, we had been leading the charge, specifically for the business community. Obviously, it was a very big issue for the business community and a lot of strong opinions. We talked to a lot of people that felt strongly. Of course, we worked closely with the Restaurant Association, work closely with a lot of business owners, specifically a lot of restaurant owners that knew that would change the game. They had already seen such input increase when it comes to everything that has happened since the pandemic started in 2020, and those prices were just going to continue to rise as you really raised the price of doing business for all the inputs along the way, including what they were going to have to put out as well. So 832 is voted no by the Oklahoma people. It was a state question. The Oklahoma voices voted, and they voted no on a very, very important state question. So getting you up to speed on that. Lots of state question, or rather state races that we need to get you up to speed on, as well as just a lot of races that are coming down to the wire and that we know better what they look like time and time again. Yeah, getting messages all over the place. Want to say special thank you to Frank Arnold's Hamburgers up in Tulsa. A big voice for us in the northeastern part of the state. You've seen his ad and his billboards on the Turnpike I-44. So we've got him to thank, along with a lot of people that helped us on that journey on State Question 832. All right. We need to get you up to speed on a lot of more races that we have declared. Let's start running some of those slides, guys, because I have not been able to keep up with some of these numbers, but I want to declare some more winners when it comes to some of the Senate and House districts and their seats that will be some changing, some not changing, but it looks like Brent Howard not running again. So Rick Vernon is your winner there in the southwest part of the state. does not have to go to a runoff, so Rick Vernon takes it there in Senate District 38. House District 14, Chris Sneed, your winner there. He moves on, longtime representative from District 14, is your primary winner. Other districts to tell you about, Danny Sterling, a longtime educator, will continue his run in House District 27. He is your primary winner. He goes on to win that district. Other races to tell you about, looks like Cindy Byrd, we are declaring as the winner when it comes to the primary for state treasurer on the Republican side. Cindy Byrd, of course, the longtime state auditor, really built up a lot of name recognition with voters, a lot of trust with voters for the work she has done with a lot of very important audits when it's come to the state over the years, specifically to the Department of Health and other big projects that she had worked on. So Cindy Byrd is the winner when it comes to the Republican primary for state treasurer. Jim Shaw, your winner in District 32. He is the primary winner there. He will move on. Other districts to tell you about, House District 6, Rusty Cornwell, your winner there. He moves on. He does not have to go to the primary runoff. He wins outright, so he goes on. House District 54, primary winner, Jason Blair. So he moves on to the general. Jason Blair, the incumbent from that seat, he moves on. He is the primary winner. Other races to tell you about, House District 51, Cole Stevens, winner take all, no Democrat candidate there. So replacing Brad Bowles will be Cole Stevens in House District 51 as Brad Bowles running for Corporation Commission. Audrey following closely some of these House District races. House District 95, primary winner Max Wolfley will be your primary winner there. He will move on to the general election. He is the incumbent, of course, from that seat. Longtime House member Max goes on for the primary win. House District 42, Cindy Rowe, your winner, the incumbent. She will take the seat. She's been there for quite some time. She continues her role and run in House District 42. Other House districts to tell you about, looks like Kinsley Jordan will win House District 40. Chad Caldwell termed out, so winner take all in this one. Kinsley Jordan wins the primary, will win the seat, so congratulations to Kinsley Jordan. Other winners to tell you about, the pride of St. John's Episcopal School, 1981, Preston Stinson, the primary winner for House District 96 on the Republican side. On the Democrat side, it looks like Ashton Smith is your primary winner there. So it looks like Stinson and Smith will go head to head in November in the general election when it comes to House District 96. That's very far north, OKC and Edmond. Stinson is the incumbent, and looks like he will be going up against Smith in that one. Lots of races that we're declaring tonight. This was a big one. We called it earlier, but Senate District 20, Chuck Hall, a lot of people thought his seat might be at risk. Strong run from his opponent, but winner take all. There will be no general election. That means Chuck Hall will remain more than likely the head of appropriations for the Senate. He gets the win in District 20, of course, endorsed by the state chamber, and did some great work for us this year when it comes to incentive evaluation commission reform, some big bills that we passed. We'll talk more about those at our annual meeting tomorrow. Speaking of, I hope people remember that our annual meeting is tomorrow. I know a lot of people have signed up, and we're going to be talking about some of these wins tomorrow and talking more about the win when it comes to literacy with the king when it comes to literacy reform right now, Mississippi and Governor Tate Reeves. Other winners to talk about when it comes to some of the districts we are declaring. We told you about the win, voting no on State Question 832. That is a statewide state question, obviously, and pretty decidedly no. Voters come across the state come out in favor of no on State Question 832. It would be a mandate to raise the minimum wage. Do we have Senator Coleman in there as well? Yeah, Senate District 10.
No,
Bill-
it looks like Senate District 10 is still out, so we're not.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, let's take that down, but we do have Pat McFerrin on, and I know Brent, you've got to field some state question
Emily,
maybe
before we
discuss-
do that, can we get to the Lawton seat? Senator Devers did not make the runoff.
Okay, well, Pat, do you want to comment on that with us? Welcome to the.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. And sorry, I've got my camera off. I'm driving between watch parties here. Hope you can hear me okay.
We'll be
Um,
safe.
Oh, I will be. You know, it's a great night for Senator Paxton and leadership, looks like. When you have, it looks like Devers not even making the runoff. I think you have a couple of others that were aligned against him that are being forced into runoffs. And unless you guys have something new, it looks like all of the leadership folks were at least leading and close to, I mean, I would call it for Coleman. I realize you guys aren't yet. But Grant Green seems to be the one that they're most concerned about. I have heard from some of those who have picked up actual voting locations that Coleman has one. So I think Grant Green's the one leadership candidate that's still to be looked at. And the last I saw, he was up 60 votes with one precinct out.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting from people on the ground, and I'm patiently waiting, but I am obsessively texting, so hopefully they're gonna get back to us soon. The Devers situation is just, man, such a big deal with Shane Jett leaving, Devers not coming back. I mean, some big pieces of the established known Freedom Caucus are, not coming back. Were there any House races, Pat, that you had your eye on? And also, what parties are you going to and from?
Oh, I just left TW.
Leaving here.
Just left TW Shannon's party, obviously a very jubilant place, winning the lieutenant governor's race without a runoff.
Yeah.
I'm heading to Eccles now, and
Great.
I'm sure they'll be in a good mood as well.
Well, I think Eccles party is just right down the street from us. So grab us some food, bring it over, and come by.
Well, that sounds great. And then if the one that'll go late will be the Cole Lucas one, and
that's just
it
'cause
probably
we know how
started
to
very
have a good
early.
time, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, Pat, thanks for sharing all your polling throughout the cycle with us and with others. Sooner Survey is always a really helpful tool and just a good barometer for where things are going and kind of the direction.
Yeah, I will point out, and I don't know what the numbers are now. It might be worth looking at the Tom Gann House race.
Yeah.
The last time I looked at it, it looked closer than I think anybody thought it would be.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder if the anti-data center,
Tom Gann won.
he did, but was it closer than you expected?
54
by about 400 votes.
Yeah, I mean that's
tight for an incumbent.
Cindy Rowe's race looked like it might be as tight as that, but those might have been the two tightest House races that I had seen.
Yeah.
So I think that's interesting as well. So
yeah, Mark Chapman, who we thought might have a little bit of a tight race, is very, very comfortable and decidedly won that.
And Preston Stinson looked like he was comfortable as well.
Yeah, I mean, everybody keeps texting me telling me he's confirmed, and Brent maybe confirmed it earlier that he won, but I mean, it looks like he's 60% plus. So.
Hey, Pat, just so you know, Tom Gann's race in the Inola precincts, the two Inola precincts, the first one, Tom Gann won by 270 votes. He got 74%. And then the other Inola precinct, he got 80.45%, and he won that precinct by 270 votes. So 270 plus another, he almost did the
wow.
The
so
difference.
His full margin in those two seats, those two precincts.
Yes.
So it really is NIMBY, if not a statewide issue then.
Yes.
I'd say so.
Yeah. Well, Pat, have a drink for us. Tell everybody we said hello, and we appreciate you coming on.
Oh, happy to. All right.
All right.
Enjoy. Thanks, guys.
Soon. Bye.
Bye.
Emily, District 17, Justin Wood has gone below 50%. We got three precincts out. He's at 48.67. Abby Thompson is in second at 18.46. And we're just waiting on these three precincts in Oklahoma County.
Okay, Good to know. Yeah, he was. I think at one point his lead was 53%. So, what else? House District 98, Gabe Woolley won 64% against former legislator Dean Davis. Representative Davis had some challenges and some charges against him there towards the end, and I wonder if maybe voters were fatigued off of that.
Emily, one of the other House seats we haven't talked about yet is House District 91, Representative Kennedy seat.
Canada, yeah, that's in a runoff, right, for Teresa Sterling and Roberto.
Ceda. So that is 32. Teresa got first with 32%, 32.13.
42. Okay, yeah, seeing that now.
Then we have House District 81, Mike Osborne seat. We've got 6 precincts to go on that one in Edmond. And Troy Talley has 46% and Rusty Raines has 36 and Amber has 16. So
Hey, where are we at on 74? Has anyone looked at that recently? Kevin Norwood.
he
He's
got
winning.
there's 4 precincts left and he's at 56%. He's up by 500 votes.
So he's running against former state rep Mark Van Kuren's wife, Sheila Van Kuren, who he ran against in the special election in 2025. Norwood beat Sheila Van Kuren by 38 votes then. So we'll see how that pans out this go around with a few more precincts out.
Hey, War Room, couple of races we should touch base on. I know we're set to go to a runoff in north central Oklahoma between Madison Bole and Daniel Dieterding, right? And then back down in the metro, Mustang seat vacated by Representative Brian Hill for his run for lieutenant governor. Looks like we're going to go to a runoff between Toby Thompson and Kevin Gentry. That one, the Battle of the Kevins down there in southwest Oklahoma City suburb of Mustang, where one of the Kevins is going to make it through to the runoff, and Toby Thompson is who he will face. So that'll be interesting there. And I think what's a very growing area, so hard to predict turnout and or maybe persuasion or opinion of those voters in an area that's growing as fast as Eastern Canadian County as that district represents.
While we're in that area, House District 45, Annie Menz decidedly won over her opponent. So update on the Democratic side there.
I don't know if you touched on House District 35 yet. Dylan Travis has won that pretty handily. He got 64% of the vote, but he had that special election at the beginning of session. So he had to run an election in February and then got another election here in June. So he's won that one 64%. And then another one the Keith's showing me here, House District 33, incumbent Molly Jenkins has won that seat. What does that say? 58% of the vote against challenger BJ Robertson. So that one is decided. Molly Jenkins will come back.
It's already 9:25.
I was just going to chime in. We are getting
We're gonna have
very
a
close to
runoff. We're gonna have a
9:30.
runoff in House District 19. We're gonna have a runoff there. Michael Brittenham got 49.11%, and Anthony DeVore got 25.71. So
That's down in southeast where we are losing. This isn't Dempsey's seat. This is JJ Humphrey's seat, right?
We're gonna have a runoff in the Senate House District 18. David Smith got 47.4, and Pam Gordon got 30.5. So David Smith is gonna have a runoff in House District 18.
All right, guys. We're getting very close now to 9:30, about half an hour left in our coverage here with Election Night Live, courtesy OklahomaDecides.com and the State Chamber. We appreciate you spending time with us tonight as we get you up to speed on these critical House and Senate races, but also some of the statewide races. Let's take one more look as we run down some of these updated numbers. And you'll see again, when it comes to that gubernatorial race, it is Gettner Drummond versus Mike Mazie, about a 1,000 vote margin with 92% of the precincts reporting. It looks like a runoff between those two. Chip Keating a distant third. T.W. Shannon's going to win outright without a primary when it comes to the lieutenant governor race. When it comes to the attorney general race, yes, it looks like John Eccles is probably going to go ahead and take that 92% of the vote, or 92% of the precincts reporting 55% of the vote for Eccles. We already declared Cindy Byrd your winner of the Republican primary for state treasurer. State superintendent. This is a very interesting race, and it is very close when it comes to this person that will be coming into the number 2 spot when it comes to the primary runoff. Robert Franklin looks to be your winner right now with 22, almost 23% of the vote, but John Cox and James Taylor are pretty close, about 4,000 votes separating them. You've got 92% of the precincts reporting. It appears that Robert Franklin will go up against James Taylor in the primary runoff come August. However, like I said, John Cox still has an outside chance of closing some of that margin, but it is a close race, and it is a race that we knew didn't have a defined leader, and it's showing that to be the case right now, with Robert Franklin leading all vote getters on the right, or on the Republican side, with 22% of the vote. We'll continue to update some of those state races, or rather those state House and state Senate races. When it comes to the federal races, want to get you up to speed with the latest numbers. When it comes to the U.S. Senator spot, Kevin Hearns, 69% of the vote, 92% of the precincts reporting. CD1, that would be Congressional District 1, northeast part of the state. And it looks like Jackson Lanemeyer and Mark Tedford still going to be the two that go to a runoff, but Mark Tedford continues to increase his lead. He now has 32% of the vote as opposed to 26 for Jackson Lanemeyer. So Mark Tedford making big strides when it comes to that race. And Josh Burkeen easily winning, Frank Lucas easily winning, and Tom Cole easily winning their congressional races. I'll let you guys get up to speed with some of these House and Senate state races, because they continue to become clear that we're going to have quite a few runoffs.
Looking at the map here, I know that we kind of had premature call there on Senator Coleman's race, but looking at the map here, I wanted to dig into it first before we officially called it, but it looks like Senator Coleman is going to be safe. I think there are some precincts that are still outstanding. Looks like 3 precincts outstanding, 1 in Osage County and 2 in Tulsa County, but it looks like Senator Coleman should be safe in that seat. And then it looks like we have 1 precinct waiting for Senator Green's seat in Oklahoma County. He's up by 60 votes right now. So that 1 precinct that we're waiting on is going to be really, really close in Oklahoma County.
We were making fun of Tulsa County earlier. I don't know what's going on at the Oklahoma County Court election board either, but we've got multiple races, like House District 81 up in Edmond. We got lots of precincts out around Oklahoma County too. So there's something going on down
taking
the
their sweet time.
Still got some outstanding as well. Senator Stanley's got a pretty big lead, but waiting on some in Oklahoma County there.
95 precincts haven't reported in Oklahoma County, and now we're down to 40 precincts in Tulsa County. So that's pretty much the entire state that's out, just those 2 counties. Canadian's done, Cleveland's done, Wagner's done, Rogers is done, Creek's done, yeah, Washington. Yeah, so we're just pretty much waiting on those two counties right now to report. Yes, the superintendent's race is,
Big surprise, man. I mean, I don't think I knew going in with enough certainty, but not what I was expecting.
yeah, looks like that, Adam Pugh is going to finish in 5th place, but yet win Oklahoma County.
I'm
Yeah.
just excited because the number of James Taylor jokes I can make in the next 2 months are going to be off the chart.
Looks
And the
like.
old guys laugh because the young people don't. No.
I think I'm more so mourning the loss for my friend Adam Pugh, who I wanted to be superintendent and
That's true. That's very true. And what a qualified candidate indeed. We knew that Robert Franklin had a lot of support behind him. It was kind of a question of who was going to finish second, and looks like the voters have spoken. Let's go ahead and run down some of those declared races as we've declared them that we have not yet shown our viewers here on Election Night Live. So Scott, let's queue up some of those winner slides that we have not gone through. We'll run down some of those. Eric Harris, definitely a friend of the chamber. He from Edmond keeps hold of his House District 39 seat in a winner-take-all win there. He will not be going to a primary, so he takes home the victory in House District 39. Elsewhere, more races to tell you about. Sam Mitchell, Republican, taking the seat of Tony Hassenbeck, who ironically running for state superintendent. He takes home that seat. There will not be a general election race in that district, House District 65. Elsewhere, House District 91 headed to a runoff with Roberta Seda and Teresa Sterling. That's on the Republican side of House District 91. So those two will be head to head in August. Gabe Woolley wins in House District 98. He is headed to the general election against a Democratic opponent. Other races to tell you about headed to a runoff, that would be Kevin Gentry and Toby Thompson in House District 47. That would be the west side of the metro, Brian Hill's seat. Of course, Brian Hill running for lieutenant governor, probably not going to make a primary runoff for the lieutenant governor spot for Brian Hill, but his vacated seat is going to go to a runoff between Gentry and Thompson. Other races to tell you about: Annie Menz, primary winner. She keeps her seat, House District 45 on the Democrat side. Other races to tell you about: Republican David Smith and Pamela Gordon will go to a runoff for House District 18. Smith, the incumbent in that one. Anthony DeVore and Michael Brittingham, House District 19. That would be the former seat of Justin Humphrey, who was running for lieutenant governor. That one's headed to a runoff there, southeastern part of the state. House District 38, Danielle Detterling and Madison Bole. They will go to a runoff. Bole, the endorsed candidate by the state chamber. Other House districts to tell you about: Mark Chapman from the northeast part of Oklahoma. He is the primary winner. He will be headed to the general election. He's, of course, endorsed by the state chamber as well. Chris White and George Phipps will go to a runoff in House District 1. Eddie Dempsey not running again, so that seat was left open. Those two will go head-to-head for the right to go to the general election in that one. Lots of runoffs to tell you about. We told you about Smith and Gordon headed to the House District 18 runoff. So it looks like that that's really a listing of some of the races that we've got going on and runoffs that we are getting you up to speed with right now. More information continues to roll in when it comes to some of these Senate districts. Jack Stewart will be going to a runoff with Tyler Herring. That one, of course, Stewart, the incumbent in Senate District 18. So that might be a little bit of a surprise as those go to a runoff in August. More races to tell you about. And Emily, from the beginning, we've been kind of worried about the Senate and the House, kind of the balance of power what are you seeing specifically on that Senate side right now with some of these election results? What's that tell us about where Senator Paxton and his contingents sit when it comes to leadership in the Senate right now?
I think it looks pretty good. I mean, I don't think there's any, major issues at this very moment. Tom Woods coming back is significant. I was confident in Senator Seyffert's win. Senator Gallagher had a troubling candidate, but I don't think he had a chance. Knowing that Chuck Hall, the appropriations chair, is back, I think gives some steadiness to appropriations process, but also for the pro tem and his leadership team. Knowing that we've got one precinct out left for Green, just want that answered. Want to know that one, because I think that's going to help. I mean, down in Senate District 32, though, Deaver's not coming back. That's significant. That is significant, I think, for the Republican caucus that, he's.
Fair to call that a surprise outcome?
Yeah, definitely a surprise. And then also in Senate District 26, where Senator Yeck was termed out, the chance of Brady Butler making a runoff, which was very plausible because he had run before. I think, Jessica Weingart and Rick Cook going to a runoff is really good. It's a good spot to be in. Brent Howard leaving was a loss, but gaining Rick Vernon, I think, is a really good addition there. So I Keith, your gut. I mean, there's a couple seats outstanding, but
based on what everyone was saying, I think for Senator Paxton and his leadership team, it was pretty much what you would say a good night.
Yeah.
I don't think we're ready to say it. I think it's only 9:39 and no one's ready to say it. We don't want to jinx it, but yeah, I think we're close.
Certainly don't want to jinx it, but you saw a lot of stuff online, specifically from the conservative grassroots group with Swamp 7, naming 7 of those senators that were up for re-election. And it looks like a lot are coming back in that group. I mean, we're still waiting on Grant Green's race in one precinct, and we're still waiting for a few results in Coleman's. Coleman looks pretty good.
What's going in Prieto's race? What do we have going on there?
Prieto has pulled into the lead against, we get to that. We're only missing one precinct there now. Prieto's in first place. And then Aaron Forst is in second place. Senator Prieto has 29.25%, and Aaron Forst has 27.33%. And then Kent Taylor has 25.82. And we're missing one precinct. Let me go to the map here, see where it's at. It's basically up in the Owasso area. So we're just kind of waiting. Those precincts all around him, not that this precinct's going to vote like that. Aaron Forst has won all the precincts around that. So we'll just wait for that to populate. But I mean, it's looking like it's going to be a runoff between Senator Prieto and Aaron Forst.
Hey guys, question for you. Like, part of the impetus for doing this show and giving the coverage was we saw some surprises last time around when it came to some of those key races. Do you think some of the specifically Senate races maybe took a little bit more effort, took the race a little bit more serious this time, given what happened last time and the unexpected results that led to a very possible power change in the Senate?
This might be I don't know. I'm just gonna say that I think maybe the Senate pushed some policies that really got to the meat of the issue that has been bubbling up in these districts. Because I can't say that they didn't work their tails off, because we all did in the 24 cycle. We just were off. So I don't know, Adam, I think you were going to say something.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. That's at the top of the list, right? The Oklahoma Senate was responsive
to their constituents, responsive to the people of Oklahoma, and governed as such, and the people have said that tonight. But I think the other thing is when you have very isolated incidents for incumbent challengers, you look at, Chairman Wallace last cycle, or 4 years ago when Brady Butler took Senator Yek to a very close runoff. This is a resource game. And when you spread the incumbent allies for months have been saying everyone in the Swamp 7 is going to get a challenger. We're going to take all the Rhino incumbents out. They get spread pretty thin, and the ability to organize, resource, and go campaign in an effective manner for that many races is just extremely difficult to do. Not that it can't be done. Plenty of campaigns are done that way, but it's very hard to follow through on that. But I think at the top of the list, right, is exactly what Emily said. The state Senate was responsive to their constituents and really cranked out some stuff that policies that answered the concerns and the things that they're bothering their constituents, and for the state of Oklahoma.
Guys, I want to
And Emily, on
I'm not going to tell you who my source is, but there's apparently something wrong in Green's district that having to take last precinct somewhere else to run the votes. Printer error allegedly.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens there, but I think just politically, those incumbents back in December and January raised the money and were organized, and so they went after once session was over, and that was the original impetus for us to get out early, so they could go home and campaign early. They were better prepared than they were 2 and 4 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, I can think of a couple Senate district right now that, thinking back to October, November, like they're just out there pounding the pavement, knocking the doors, raising the money, putting in the work so that when they had to come up here and do their job, they were able to, keep things okay back at home. CD1, do we want to check in on that?
Yeah, we can check in on it. I think we're probably pretty clear that we've got that runoff between Jackson Laymeyer and Mark Tedford.
Oh, we do. Okay, I missed it.
Yeah.
I probably had it muted for a second.
No, you're good. I think you see one thing I've noticed again, and War Room, please stop me if I'm going down the wrong road here, because you guys got it all up and I've been bouncing around. Late entrants into some of these races did not do as well as some people who can, think you can come in late and splash, and sometimes that bun's got to bake for a little bit rather than coming in real hot. You can't just throw it in the fryer and get it done. I think some of the late entrants.
Sometimes that bun has got to bake a little bit, folks. That's going to be the quote for the night.
I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, War Room, but I've seen some people who jumped in races late that maybe didn't win outright, didn't make it to a runoff, or getting in a runoff as a second place finisher. So I think something to look for as well. I think it was brought up just a moment ago. These folks are in their district. They're working years and years. a year and a half, 2 years of people who were in and around the district, making sure, telling the story of the good work being done. And that message was received.
Just to confirm what, maybe we have the same source, Emily, but I'm being told, quote, there was a printer malfunction and it is at the election board and the election board is now handling it.
Hey, Adam, I want to talk a little bit more about CD1, and that has been your area of expertise. A lot of people thought once Jackson got that endorsement for Trump that it was a signed, sealed, delivered race for him. Now, of course, the stuff that we referenced, the scandal that has come out in the last couple of days, we knew would have an effect. But you're seeing Tedford with a 4,000 vote lead. We're looking at a 7-point lead when it comes to the percentage points. And for Tedford to have that kind of lead, and then we heard Tidwell say that it was only going to grow probably in the primary runoff as that scandal takes even more time to manifest itself. If you're in the Tedford camp, do you like where you're at?
Yeah, I think you like where you're at. I think but you finished first tonight.
You
Yeah,
love
that's
where
what I'm
you're
saying.
at.
Like, I think
Tonight is good. Tomorrow it starts again. You got to reload. Mark Tedford had a huge advantage because he spent a lot of money. He had money, his own personal resources to put in. Remember what I said at the beginning. This race was run like a special election. There was no conserving your cash. There was no months of burn. It was money in, money out, straight on TV. And Mark Tedford did that the best. Now, what I think you're going to see, I would not want to be in a Republican primary up against the president or the president's proxy. Not a place you want to be, but the situation around it, I think, has the Tedford camp probably feeling okay. Like Tidwell said earlier, that scandal is going to fester. It's not going to go away. The other thing being, I think some people would have seen that endorsement and said Laymeyer's going to run away. I think I had some sources. We've seen polling over the last couple of weeks that had Laymeyer in third place. Now, so again, I think it has weight with the people it has weight with when the president speaks. I got a notification earlier, the president's endorsement, the Georgia Senate runoff won. So he stuck to his guns there in the Senate, U.S. Senate down south, and came out victorious. There's a long time between now and the end of August for that runoff. But if you're Mark Tedford, I think you like where you sit, but you can't let your foot off the gas. And you've got to go win all the people who didn't vote for you. Because 9 people ran for this seat. There's a lot of people out there who are starting over with a blank slate.
Hey, Adam.
Adam, I want to say real fast on that first district race, if you look, I think Tedford's in a really good spot. Laymeyer won early voting, scandal broke. Tedford he's 4,000 votes ahead on election day.
That's big, Keith. That's big. And I said earlier, I think the scandal broke and didn't quite infiltrate all of the conversation yet. You're not going to be able to avoid it by the end, but you see the effect right there just in the numbers Keith just said.
Hey, Adam, real quick too, you know what I'm going to ask. When you think back to Stitt's first campaign for governor going up against Mick Cornett, Cornett won that primary and then just got destroyed in the runoff by Stitt because every single vote that wasn't for Cornett went to Stitt. Are we chance to see something like that? It makes a little sense in that Mark Tedford's probably the urban candidate in that situation, much like Cornett was the Oklahoma City candidate. Is that too much?
Are we ready to shift to the other one that
Grant
Keith and
Green's
Dalton
final.
and I have?
Grant Green's final.
Grant Green has.
All right.
You know I love a good conspiracy.
Sorry, needed to interrupt so we could stop talking CD1 because this is a huge win. Big deal. Still a lot to be decided in CD1, so that one will go to the runoff, but he won by 67 votes is what we're being told.
And Justin Wood, Senate District 17 is final. Justin Wood, 45.27. Abby Thompson, second place by 11 votes with 18.87. So that race
Wow.
will be interesting to see what Abby decides to do. If you look at those precinct results, Potawatomi County is the majority of that district. Justin Wood got 53.08 in that seat, and Abby only got 17% in Pot County.
All right, so big deal for Grant Green, major.
So with
Dalton,
Grant Green,
Coleman.
with Coleman, both moving on, it means all of those Swamp 7 have won their races. So all of those folks are going to come back.
Good night. For anybody that's still watching at 9:51 p.m. Okay.
Real fast, we haven't looked. United States Senator Democrat, is that going to runoff? I would assume
Yes. Nikayla Jasmine Thomas versus Jim Priest.
Okay.
I have not determined the independent just yet. But I think we're losing viewers and we're losing steam, and the announcement on Green is such a big deal. 832 win, Adam, way to go, man. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears from everybody, but man, especially you. So very grateful there. And then,
hey, Emily, for all of us nerds out there,
yeah,
Potawatomi County, District 3, Representative Dale Curbs finished second place. He will be in a runoff. The first place got 35.8%, and Dale Curbs got 30.69.
I mean, we could go for another couple hours if the war room wants to start digging into county races.
We don't even have to recharge Adam. This is just how he
Hey, I
is.
was just
I'm
doing
just
District
excited.
17 stuff, and I was like, oh, let's just look at that. Let's just look at
Just
that.
bring in a new pair of khakis and a button-up shirt for Adam, and he's ready to go. Let's do
Yeah,
this.
we can do this. It's Guinness World Records, longest election coverage. Maybe we've got some municipal propositions way out in the panhandle to get to.
Hey,
I think,
you want some?
I
right.
think,
You asked, we're gonna go to Cimarron County.
no, we're not. We have an event tomorrow and we have to be there at like 8 a.m. So we're all gonna go get in our
Hold
slumber
on,
sleeping
you're gonna
bags.
have to give Mr. Kent Tooley his due. So Cimarron County, District 3, I'm sure Mr. Tooley is listening. Kent Tooley, 60.12%.
With 98 votes.
With 98 votes, beat Randy Lynn Esslinger with 65 votes, 39.88. So Kent Tooley is our man for the day. So there you go.
Before we wrap it up, that's actually a good point. What's our voter turnout?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Yeah, numbers for some of these statewide are just not adding up to, I mean,
Republican governor's race is at 3, so it's gonna be
398.
gonna be a little over 400,000. So it's not, I mean, not bad, not good, but not bad.
Not standout. Well, I know I'm grateful
There
for
were about 620,000 votes on 832. So
there were how many?
620,000.
Wow.
So
Where is that with expectation levels? I know that's lower than expected, but
I think that's about on par. You know, I don't think you saw sort of the fever you saw 8 years ago among voters. Oklahoma's a pretty low turnout state, so I think that's I have to go back and look and ask the experts who were doing all the prediction models and the turnout models, but I think it's about what would be expected, maybe a little higher than what Keith and I talked about before we went on air.
yeah, 11-point victory, 100%, 98.99% of the precincts reporting. So that is a
Hey.
large victory.
I think it was a really good night. 832, the Senate, some really good wins in the House as well. I'm excited. Keith, thank you for being a guest with us.
Thank you for having me.
We know you just eat this up, but you have officially gotten yourself an official, we're gonna have to get you a cube here now so that we can,
I never even ate my fix. I'm starving. I got my.
we offered him dinner and he said, I've got my fix, and it was a Reese's peanut butter cup.
It was the king size. It was the big,
Here.
earning a field promotion there, Keith. Appreciate the time and great insight, and of course, great numbers there at the drop of a hat with all your connections. We are coming up on 9:55, everyone. We are scheduled to be on the air through 10 o'clock, but a lot of the big races have been declared. Lots of runoffs have been declared. So really great being with you, getting you up to speed. When it comes to the state chamber, of course, those who are in our 2300 club will be getting that updated voter guide tomorrow. Make sure to go through that and make sure to see all the information. Great resource when it comes to the election, especially the runoffs that will be coming in August. And of course, our annual meeting tomorrow is going to be big. Really excited about having the governor of Mississippi with us at our annual meeting to talk about the Mississippi Miracle and some of the trials and tribulations they faced as they tried to make that leap in third, fourth grade reading scores. Really excited to have him with us tomorrow, and I think that's going to be a great day. Also, naming new chair when it comes to Dustin Hillary, as outgoing chair Rick Nagel will say his final words as the head man for the state chamber in the chairman's seat. So lots going on with the state chamber. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Once again, Adam, great job on the big board. And of course, we are slated to do this also for the primary runoffs in August and then the general election in November. And that war room's going to get more crowded, I think, in the days and nights to come. And I think Adam's probably going to have a couple more maps to work on as we really break down some of these races. Emily, of course, keeping up with all those seats, especially in the Senate. Great job there. Lots to still tackle this summer as we get ready for those primary runoffs. But closing thoughts as we get ready to close things down here. I think you said a lot of it, but good night when it comes to some of the outcomes we were looking for here at the State Chamber.
I think it was a great night. It's a great night, and I'm excited. Excited to go to bed now.
Yeah. Not as bad as you thought with 3 hours of coverage?
No, it went so fast.
Yeah. All right.
Hey,
Dalton?
make sure to tip your waiter. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
It's been a
Let's
great
give
night.
a big round of applause to Scott. Scott Harris, of course,
Scott.
punching all the numbers. His first directorial debut, doing a great job. Of course, Audrey Rourke, her wedding week, steps in to do a lot of the graphic work for us tonight. And then Luke
Kenna
doing it.
Case, Luke Reynolds.
Yeah, Luke Reynolds and McKenna Case, of course, running all the big board stuff. And Amanda just doing some great work there in the war room, getting us the latest information on winners and runoffs, and a lot of people to thank tonight.
And who can forget Carla Shaper Cutter coming in clutch with the party setup. So we're gonna shut her down. We're gonna all have a little cocktail.
I love it. She's got the Victory Eagle already ready to go. All right, we might call it a night just a couple minutes early for you tonight, but once again, appreciate everyone tuning in for the maiden voyage of Election Night Live here on OK Decides. You can watch it again on OK Decides. You can also watch
Oh
on
my
the Facebook
God,
Live.
don't watch it again, people. You watched it once.
You know they're going to stay up and watch it again and again for the very first time, Emily. It's going to be great. But we'll do it again for the runoff, and we'll do it again for the general as well. From all of us here at the State Chamber, OK Decides. Appreciate you joining us. We will see you next time, everyone.